loves a home race, and after a 2-round American swing, we are back at Supertri's spiritual home, right in the heart of London. The crowds are out in force here in Canary Wharf. The top 32 athletes in the world of short course racing will have had a fortnight to learn, to reset, and to get ready to go again. Now, before we kick it off, we're going to have a look back as how it all played out in Chicago. It was 2 Sundays ago. Let's look back right now. Let's get it underway. Round 2 here in Chicago. Jean Lahair, our race winner from last week. We've got the 2023 world champion in Beth Potter in the blue. And then in the red is Cassandra Beaugrand, who is the Olympic gold medalist. As Taylor Brown moves to the front, it's going to be Georgia Taylor Brown, and it's going to be a 1-2 for those in red. Taylor Brown heading into the lead of the championship. It's time to go get the Olympic gold medalist, Alex G, the man to beat. Into the water they go. The 3 Frenchmen out the front. The 2023 world champion Connings in white, the 2020 world champion Vincent Lewis in red, then the 2022 world champion in Berger. 22 seconds back is Alex G. Hayden Wild is crushing the opposition. The Kiwi will lead the championship. 2 wins then for Crown Racing. Hayden Wild and Georgia Taylor Brown turning second placings in Boston into wins a week later, and yet Crown remain behind podium in the team's race. Tim Don's outfit taking plenty of top 10 spots and some individual discipline points for the fastest swim, bike and run. Brownlee Racing lost ground last time out, but they're back at home. Unfortunately, team captain Johnny Brownlee is here, but he isn't racing today. Adam Leach is on the ground, and he's caught up with him to find out why.
Well, Johnny, welcome back to London again, but you're not racing. Can you tell us why and when we can expect to see you back on the course again?
Yeah, it's nice to be back. Unfortunately, I pulled my calf about 9 weeks ago now, and it's not quite ready yet, so not racing this weekend, but I'll be back for Toulouse in a few weeks' time.
Well, it's been a busy little summer for you as well, getting married. Many congratulations. How's it been since then? Yeah, it's been a really busy summer, obviously. Paris, not qualifying for that was a disappointment. Getting married was an amazing day, and then I wanted to come back for London and be back for this race. You know, I worked really hard to stay fit around the wedding. On my honeymoon, I took my bike and everything like that, but unfortunately I didn't quite make it back in time, but there's plenty more racing to go. Well, you're here today kind of also as owner, ambassador for your own team, Brownlee Racing. What have you made of watching them from afar so far? How do you think they're doing?
Yeah, they've done well, obviously. Well, first I want to say I'm incredibly proud of Brownlee Racing. To actually be here now makes it feel real. You know, obviously been part of the journey now for a couple of years of Brownlee Racing, and it really started in London 2012 legacy, and to then bring it back around the full circle and be here on the ground with the kit, the branding, I'm quite emotional. So it's been great to have a team, and the secondary team's been doing great. You know, obviously the season's nearly halfway through now, and post Paris, you know, some guys came out of that in different form to others, but yeah, it's been a good start.
And just really, really quickly, have you been able to stop yourself interfering and let Nom manage the team?
No. I've been trying to do my bit, you know. I've obviously been around it a lot. I know when I can help out when I can stay out of the way, but yeah, I've been helping as much as I can.
Well, brilliant, Johnny, and we wish you the best of luck, and we look forward to seeing you back on the racecourse, hopefully very, very soon.
Thank you very much, and I'll see you racing Toulouse.
Great to see Johnny Brownlee as the umbrellas come out, the changeable weather. It is your 8-minute warning, which means the women's race is fast approaching. Let's look at the individual league leaderboard as it stands. Taylor Brown's win as part of that Crown Racing 1-2, putting her on top, while round 1 winner Jean Lahair drops to second, 1 point clear of Stars and Stripes veteran, she won't like me saying that, Taylor Spivey, with Olympic gold medalist Cassandra Beaugrand elevated to 4th after her podium last time ahead of Olivia Matthias and Jess Fulliger, who's not here. It's very finely poised in both the individual and the team's race. And look at the GB Olympians with their medals, waving to the crowd as they were announced just a little while ago. Georgia Taylor Brown, Alex G, who we'll hear from a little later on, and of course Beth Potter as well. And obviously the GB fans will be hoping their Olympic stars will lead the way here at home. Let's have a look at the full start list for the women. Won't stop the fans from coming out. Some in sunshine, some in the rain. Tim Don's podium racing is on top, largely thanks to picking up those individual discipline points. Brazil's Vittoria Lopez has won both swims thus far, and Leone Perio has featured in the run. Crown have 3 genuine race winners there in Kate Woff, Taylor Brown and Beau Grant, but they could be taking points from each other, while Stars and Stripes is boosted by the addition of Emma Lombardi. Let's head down to Tim Don, who's taking us through the course.
Swim in London is so important. Getting an outside or an inside spot on the pontoon are vital. You hit the transition and it's so short that you need to be out there fast. We've got 2 tight turns at the end and this exit is brutal. Elbows will be out, shoulders will be broad, they will be fighting for every second. These cobbles are what make London course so unique. The East End docks. The athletes come flying down here lap after lap and they even have to run on them. Positioning is crucial as they hit transition, which is right at the end of the straight. Get front row seats here as the athletes come thundering down here on the bike and on the run. Is the fifth element, the British crowd, going to be the difference for the returning Olympic medalists and get them to the top of the podium? The ecstasy of crossing the line first, that's what all athletes dream of here in London. Who will win? We will find out, but they will be the most complete triathlete here in London. Let's hope it's someone from podium racing.
That's the smile of a man on top of the standings. Now, we've covered the athletes and the course. Let's have a look at the format. The swim is a super fast 300 metres, followed by a 4-kilometre bike and a 1.6-kilometre run, but we're doing those 3 times. Now, at the bottom of your screen, you can see the race as it will play out. The current leg will be highlighted like the first swim is right now, so you can follow the progress. And you see those 3 SC symbols above the first 3 icons. That indicates who has won the short shoot. The short shoot is a shortcut that is earned for a team by the athletes that are first across the mount line after the opening swim and bike and across the dismount line after the first run. That means jeopardy all throughout the race. A team can only earn 1 short shoot, and it will be given to any athlete in that team based on how the race is playing out. They'll take it on the final run, and it might just win them the race. That is the question. Now we are looking at Parker Spencer, the manager, talking to his Stars and Stripes athletes while Beth Potter listens in. And we're about to introduce the athletes out onto the black carpet. A little shower, and now you can see in the background the sunshine has come again. So 4 seasons in 1 day. Let's start with Tim Don's lineup. Now, we mentioned Lopez, super swimmer, has picked up maximum swim points. Leone Perio is a fantastic runner. Didn't have the race she would have hoped for in Chicago. She wants to hit back. And John Lahair is sitting 2nd overall in the standings. So watch out for her. She was the winner here in London. Her first supertri win 1 year ago. And 2nd in the overall race is Crown Racing, managed today by Michael Gilliam. Chris McCormack not here. 3 kind of GC athletes in Woff, Taylor Brown and Beau Grant. Taylor Brown a regular on the podium here. Beau Grant the 2022 winner of this race and also the Olympic gold medalist, and she did that in wet cobblestone conditions too, so she won't be worried too much. Let's head down now to Adam, who has, to Annie, who has Georgia Taylor Brown.
Georgia, great start to the season. A 2nd place in Boston, 1st in Chicago. How are you feeling coming into London?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a home race. I get to race in front of family and friends and people I've probably not seen for a while. So I'm really excited. I always love London. It's a chaotic course. There's a lot going on. And yeah, the road surface is a bit sketchy. But yeah, that's just super tri racing for you.
And you've really come into some great form, the form that we've seen you in previously. Last year was a tough year for you, but you seem to be back at your best.
Yeah, I didn't know how I'd feel after the Olympics. I didn't have the result I wanted, and I didn't know whether I could have gone either way. I could have been really down and just thought, oh, I don't care. But I think it's given me a bit more fire in the belly, and I've enjoyed training and, yeah, just getting excited for Super Tri and the different dynamics of that. So, no, I'm excited to keep pushing my body, and I've worked hard all year, so I'm going to keep pushing.
And Crown are doing well, really well. How are the team tactics? How are you all getting on?
Yeah, we're close. We're 5 points down, so we do need to get those points back, and we're just missing them on the disciplines. So I think we all need to kind of buckle down and get the discipline points now. And yeah, we're just going to have to give it our best, and that's all we can do. So hopefully we can bring it back.
Great. Have a fantastic race.
Thank you.
There are plenty of Brits out there in the Bahrain victorious red, but there are even more supporting Brownlee Racing, with Johnny Brownlee, the owner, non-Stanford 2013 world champ, the manager, and Beth Potter, the reigning world champion, in there amongst a team of champions. Olivia Matthias is having a fantastic season thus far with 7th and 4th. Alice Beto and Annabelle Morton comes in as an athlete, her first race in supertri this year. And we are rounded out by the Americans of Stars and Stripes, and a big inclusion for them as they fight to move into 3rd position. They're on the bottom of the table right now. Emma Lombardi, the former under-23 world champion from 2021, always has a big race at supertri, joins the team. Kirsten Casper, Katie Zafiris, twice champion here, and Taylor Spivey, who was on the podium last time out, 3rd and 4th so far. And Parker Spencer, Stars and Stripes manager, will be happy with this lineup. We'll head down now to Adam to see exactly how Parker's feeling ahead of this one.
2 minutes until the race.
Parker, Stars and Stripes this week. You've managed to bring in Emma Lombardi, 4th at the Paris Olympics, one of the best young athletes in the sport. What are you expecting from her? What a boost to your team.
Yeah, we couldn't be more stoked to have Emma here. Like you said, 4th, and not just the individual race, but also the mixed relay. She had one of the best races out of any athlete in Paris. So even though we don't have Kathia this week because she's at her national championship, we couldn't be more stoked to have Emma. She'll also be with us in Toulouse as well.
And does this change your tactics for your women's race today?
Not really. What we really want is our women to just go out there and try to place as high as they can. That's what we know we need to do in order to catch up and pass Brownlee Racing this weekend.
So really quickly then, is this a focus on a few more discipline points for your team or more overall?
More overall, even though in the last 2 races we've had quite a few individual points as well. What we've learned is especially on the women's side, if they go for the overall, then we can also get some individual points as well.
Well, best of luck to you today, Parker. You've certainly got a big boost with Emma in your team.
Thank you.
He looks happy to have that as well, and why not, as the sun is back out, and Annie Emerson, being the consummate athlete that she is, has made it back to the commentary box. Annie, welcome back. Obviously great to talk to Georgia. She seems relaxed, but there's nothing relaxing about this course, these conditions, and the athletes they're facing.
No, difficult courses as we have a look at now the girls waiting on the pontoon for the start of the London 2024 Supertri Series.
I think the inside line is the one you want. Stars and Stripes get it. Kirsten Casper closest to us. They take 2 right-hand turns at the end of this 300-metre swim, or halfway through, and then back to the pontoon and up for a very slippery ramp. Bahrain Victorious or Crown Racing next to them. Then Brownlee Racing on the far side. Podium Racing. Let's get it underway. Good clean start across the board. It is an absolute washing machine as they fight for position. They're going to head under a bridge, which is going to split the athletes, and it means that you really have to have a strong start. And closest to us, I think it's Lombardi in the water on the screen left-hand side, and in the red, that is Cassandra Beaugrant. You can see closest to them.
Yeah, Emma Lombardi is a great addition to the Stars and Stripes racing team. She really is such a brilliant swimmer, but all round so strong. Finished 4th in that awful place in the Olympics. I mean, absolutely wonderful, but always a difficult place to finish in. But a really young athlete. She finished 3rd in the series last year in 2023. It's going to be really interesting to see what she does here today.
Pretty cool in the water, pretty cool in the air as well. Not much wind to speak of, not that you could see any trees basically to decide that. It's Canary Wharf is very built up here. Great to have a race right in the heart of London though, and leading into that first buoy, we haven't mentioned her, but it's going to be Lopez again in the white of Podium Racing. It's 2 tight little turns. Look at the turn on that second buoy. There's really no room for error there, and that's going to string the field out as they head back under the bridge and around that boat, which is there permanently moored until you can see the ramp in the back end of your shot. But it looks like Lopez, followed by one of the athletes from Brownlee Racing. I think it's probably, it could be Potter or Matthias. And then it's a bit of a struggle around that second buoy. But Lopez head down. She knows she needs to pick up those 4 points again. That is her role for Tim Don's team. Twice she's finished 15th overall, but twice she's picked up 4 points for the team by having the fastest swim. So she's actually had a good haul of points, I suppose, and that's because she knows she needs to go out and play her role for the team with nearly $1 million and plenty of bragging rights on offer for the team's race this year.
Yeah, the points in the individual aspect of this racing are really important because, as you said, she's been eliminated in both races, Chicago and Boston, because she's fallen behind the 90-second rule. But she's picked up brilliant points for podium racing, being the lead swimmer in the championship series at the moment. I think that's Olivia Mathias, who finished 4th in Chicago, and she really is moving on up in terms of where she is as an athlete. She really is so much potential. She finished 5th overall in the 2023 series, and I think 4th in Chicago a couple of weekends ago was the best result for Olivia Mathias from Brownlee Racing, and having a good swim here, just hanging on to the feet of the small Brazilian athlete Victoria Lopez. I mean, she's only about 5'3", but she's an absolute demon in the water.
She is a powerhouse, and unless she makes a mistake getting out of the water here, she's going to pick up those swim points again as that white line she crosses at the top of that ramp, so picks up that, but the short shoot comes after transition. So transition being such an important part of supertri, she needs to have a good transition, get out of transition first, and she'll pick up the short shoot for podium racing if she doesn't make a mistake. If she does make a mistake, it'll be Mathias. It looks though like it is going to be Lopez. Short shoot card goes out for podium racing, then Mathias, and then Zefiris, I think, is that Zefiris or Casper? It's Kirsten Casper, then Bogran, then Spivey, and then Taylor Brown. So all the teams represented in the top 4.
And this is a difficult time on this course, Will. It's, as all the athletes have said, it's a real challenge. They love it. It's super fast, but it's technical. And the surfaces change in so many different parts. And with that rain just having come down, it's going to be quite slippy in places. And some of the athletes are going to want to take a few risks, and others are going to want to be just a little bit more cautious. Taking a look back, and I think that is Kirsten Casper, although...
It looks like Zefiris to me, but it came up as Casper on the timing sheets. We'll check that out. But... yeah, so Mathias, obviously based in Loughborough, gets used to kind of conditions like this that are changeable in the UK, a little bit more confident on the bike. Lopez happy to hang in behind, and the two of them need to work together as they head around the top end of this course, but it's kind of an exploratory lap, I suppose you would say, just to see exactly how treacherous it is as they continue to cross the white lines, go from paving to asphalt and then onto cobblestones. It throws a bit of everything at you, but Mathias now off the front. Lopez going in behind her. Looks like, well, 2 Stars and Stripes athletes, with Spivey in 4th position, that she so often is in 4th position. Now onto the cobbles at the top end of the course. So the 300-metre swim, and then we head out for 4Ks on the bike and then into the first run.
Stars and Stripes will be looking to pick up some vital points here in London. They're sitting back in 4th place, 21 points behind Brownlee Racing, who are sitting in 3rd with 130 as the athletes now come down the main stretch on this course. And look at all the fans out there. The British people love triathlon, and with the success that we've seen over the years in the Olympics, it's only just helped to grow the sport. We heard from Johnny Brownlee earlier before, but here racing in supertri this weekend, we have, of course, Alex Yee, the current Olympic champion. Beth Potter is here as well, and our mixed relay team, Georgia Taylor-Brown, is here as well racing. It's just such a star-studded lineup, and for me in this women's race, there's around about 6 or 7 athletes that are capable of winning here today.
Oh, there absolutely is. When you look all the way down to the bottom of the top 10, both Potter is the 2023 world champion. Jean Lahaye, who won here last year, she's sitting in 14th position at the moment. Cassandra Beaugrand, who, I mean, we've often talked about her ability to handle a bike in the wet. Obviously, that was all blown away in Paris, where she won the Olympic gold medal on cobblestones and rough surfaces exactly like this. You've got race winners all the way down to 14th position. Incredible. With great respect to Annabelle Morton. Everyone in this field at the moment is capable of pulling out a race win, and Olivia Mathias is enjoying these wet and changeable conditions and has more than a 3-second advantage at the moment.
Yeah, and Emma Lombardi just going round the 180-degree bend there with Georgia Taylor-Brown. But Olivia Mathias, she's well known for her bike strength and her bike handling skills, and she's decided she wants to be on her own here. To be honest with you, on a course like this, if you're confident and strong and you can get a gap, it's a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, it is, and the time when it really matters is in the second swim. If you can create a little bit of a gap and measure your run into the fatigue second swim, it can really, it strings out the field, and it can really, I guess, it shows at that point.
Absolutely. Sitting in second place, looks to me like Katie Safurius. We thought it was Kirsten Casper who'd come out of the water, but let's have a look now. We'll see as they go over the timing, Matt. We'll get some names up, but Matthias is definitely in the lead at the moment. There we go. It's still saying Kirsten Casper. Spivey is in third place. She loves this course. She's been on the podium here a couple of times before, but not had a win yet. Taylor Brown is up there. Kate Woff, who was third in Boston, is up there, and Lombardi as well. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how she is. We haven't seen her race since Paris, and that fourth place finish. Lopez sitting in seventh. It'll be good to see if she can avoid elimination here today in London.
So already 35 seconds across the top 15. We can head down now to Tim Don, who's with Adam Leach.
Tim, podium racing, you've got some well-positioned athletes, but perhaps a surprise to see a former winner here in London, Jean Leher, back down in 12th. What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what's going on, but, you know, it's fast racing. It rained just before the start, beautifully sunny now. It's a slippy course. You can see they're very strung out, so the pace is on. Brownlee Racing have obviously come here with a plan, and they're executing it. But it's the first round. I'll be a little bit more worried if we're looking like that after the first run. But yeah, we need to get after it today.
Absolutely. He's quiet just now, but he's the master tactician, as the top 8 seem to be Matthias, Casper, Spivey. So 2 Stars and Stripes athletes in the top 3. Taylor Brown, Woff, Lombardi, Lopez, and Alice Beto. And a beautiful shot as the sun shines down on that big crowd who is lining the back end of this course and watching Olivia Matthias, who's gone from 7th position in Boston to 4th position in Chicago, and now to a sizable lead on the 3rd lap of the bike. She has been getting better and better, Matthias. She's never led a race before, and she's doing exactly that now in a group of 5 with Woff and Taylor Brown, the Team GB Paris 2024 teammates, on the front of a group that includes Lombardi, Casper and Spivey, which means that the podium athletes are not featuring at the front. Lopez, the quickest of them, after picking up that 4 points for the swim, but we're not seeing much of Leonie Perriot and Jean Leher, our 2023 London winner. There she is, 28 seconds in arrears. Beaugrand 31 seconds back.
Yeah, and Potter as well. I mean, this is interesting because both Potter and Beaugrand, Beaugrand, the gold medalist from the Olympics, Potter, the bronze medalist, both now race pretty well in the wet, but we'll have to take a look back at the swim times. But I think this course is causing a few problems. It's bumpy, there are cobblestones, it's wet, there are a few little potholes to keep an eye on as well, and we can just see Fanny Salai out of the race, the youngest athlete in this series.
Right, there is the chasing group, and they're all chasing Olivia Matthias. Fanny Zalai out of this one, the 16-year-old who finished in 7th position in Chicago. So disappointing for her. Not sure whether she came off the bike or she's had a mechanical. We'll try and get some information on that. But Matthias looks like she's going to, at the very least, deliver Brownlee Racing the short shoot. And we're hearing as well that Katie Zafiris is in fact out as well. She is in fact with Adam right now, so we're going to find out exactly what happened to the 2-time champ.
Katie, really sad to see you back in transition here. Race over. What's happened?
Yeah, I had a pretty good swim, and actually it was with the pack. I was really excited, and right out of transition we were mounting, and you can do it in different ways. And I had mounted and was riding, and Jean Leher was running around, and as she was taking space, I was coming on her inside, said on your inside, but she didn't see me, and so we crashed into the, and I was on the inside into the barrier, and I got up, got my bike okay, but my derailleur was bent into my spokes and my headset was sideways, and here I am.
2018 and 2019, so she hasn't had the series that she would have hoped for, and she obviously tangled up with Jean Leher, who managed to carry on and is currently in 9th position, but a mechanical in the end. And meanwhile, Olivia Matthias has given Brownlee Racing the second short shoot. Now, that doesn't mean that Matthias gets to take that shortcut. It means she gives her manager, Non-Stanford, the option to give it to one of those athletes. Now, meanwhile, the chasing pack is led by the Bahrain victorious logo of Georgia Taylor-Brown, then Emma Lombardi. Kate Woff is there as well. Kirsten Casper.
It's interesting.
And Taylor Spivey as well.
Week by week, these races throw out such different results, and it's the courses, they're challenging and they really test the athletes, and that's what we love about super tri racing. Look how smooth Olivia is looking right here. She's got some fast runners behind her. I think they'll make a little bit of inroad to that 10-second gap, but at the moment she's looking incredibly strong, and her second swim is great. So Olivia Matthias at the moment leading this race, looking absolutely brilliant, followed by Georgia Taylor-Brown, Emma Lombardi, Kate Woff, Kirsten Casper, and it looks like she's Taylor Spivey just dropping off the pace a little bit. She was a third-place finisher in Chicago and has been on the podium a couple of times before in London. We are 4th edition now in London, aren't we? 4th time that Super Tri has been here racing.
All the athletes liking to stay off the cobblestones and stay on the side just there. They're very treacherous, those ones. Matthias is making it look easy. 2 laps on the run. This is the first, and now Brownlee Racing can pick up the second short shoot as well. And they won't get to take 2, but they take away the opportunity for one of the other teams to get one. But it looks like Taylor Brown is starting to eat up that distance in the first lap of the run. Great shot there of Matthias in the lead. The drone following along with Olivia Matthias, and Taylor Brown, the the 3-time Olympic medalist, is trying to track her down with Lombardi behind her. They've gapped Woff, Casper and Spivey, and then Leher is all by herself as the first athlete from podium racing, as they are nearly 1 triathlon down, but with 2 triathlons to go after this. The course is starting to dry up a little bit, but it'll be about measuring the effort through and not trying to overdo it. Now, Non-Stanford is the manager of Brownlee Racing, and she will be extremely excited with Matthias at the front.
Non, what a race here from Olivia Matthias. Was this always the intention for her to go out at the front like this?
No, I don't think it was part of the plan. It certainly wasn't something that we discussed before, but it just shows how strong Olivia is on the bike. She's also technically very proficient, and just having a bit of her own space going around those corners has really helped her. It's very slippery out there. I think the girls are quite nervous because the floor is so wet, and she's just been able to capitalise on that. I think Georgia's catching her now coming on the run, but if Olivia can get in with a little bit of a gap on the swim, she can potentially swim away and do the same again on the bike. So it's going to be an interesting race. I think there might be a bit of yo-yoing between her and those chase girls, but no, fantastic start for us and hopefully a confidence boost for her.
Absolutely, very happy. The 2013 world champion now. She's right. Georgia Taylor-Brown has eaten up that little gap, and Emma Lombardi is desperately trying to hold on, knowing that they all need to swim together. The swim caps have gone on already, and this is where Super Tri Annie is so unique in that they now have to take on a fatigued swim. What other triathlon is there where you have to take on a fatigued swim and you find yourself running with your swim cap on and then in a minute with the swim goggles on as well? Spivey is in 4th position where she's used to being. Casper is there as well, and Woff is your top 6. Jean Leher has made up 10 seconds on the first lap of that run. We saw her kick away the podium athlete last year. As you can see them avoid the cobblestones and run alongside the wall. But Taylor Brown knows the short shoot is on offer. Once she hits the dismount line, that is for the run, of course, because they don't cross the mountain line again, they get into the water. So there looks like for Bahrain Victorious or for Crown Racing, there's going to be a short shoot for them on offer. Whether it goes to Georgia Taylor-Brown, well, that's Michael Gilliam's decision. And your 3 athletes are GB, GB and France as we wrap up the first of 3 triathlons, Annie.
Well, MG, it'll be interesting to see what decision he makes, won't it? So Michael Gilliam, it will be interesting because he's made some fairly controversial decisions previously when he's handed out the short shoots. But I think it'll be hard pushed to not give it to Georgia Taylor-Brown, who's looking absolutely magnificent right now. Matthias 4 seconds back, Lombardi 4 seconds, and they've got a nice little gap. Interestingly, importantly, Matthias didn't lose any time to Spivey, Wolf and Casper. She was 10 seconds behind going out onto the run. So at the moment, Olivia Matthias looking incredibly strong. And she said in Chicago, when am I going to get on the podium? She was fourth there. And at the moment, I mean, there's a long way to go. We've got 2 more rounds to go of swim, bike, run. But Olivia Matthias has had a great first round here in West India Quay.
Also for Georgia Taylor-Brown, she is our individual points league leader, and she'll be happy with the 2s and 3s because Lombardi has missed 2 rounds, so she won't feature in the overall. And Matthias, well, she's 5th overall, 8 points behind Georgia Taylor-Brown. So the more athletes that Taylor-Brown can put between herself and Jean Lahair and Taylor Spivey, who are 2nd and 3rd, the greater, if indeed she wins, her individual points lead will be. But we have a lot to go between now and then, as Taylor-Brown just looks nice and comfortable in this water at Canary Wharf. It's pretty cold, according to the athletes yesterday, who all went out there in full wetsuits, except for Vasco Velasa, who came out in his budgie smugglers, I suppose you would call them. But we'll head back down now to Adam Leach, who's wants to talk to Parker Spencer for the first time since we got things underway.
Parker, 3 athletes in the top 5 here for Stars and Stripes. This is your best performance so far. What's going right, and what do you need to do to keep this going to the end?
Yeah, all 3 of those girls are having a great race. Just as expected, Emma's right there in the front. And then, as we've seen in past weeks, Taylor starts out, paces herself really well, and then she's right there in the mix at the very end. So to see her where she's at right now, I think she's going to have a great finish today.
Excellent. Well, he's always pretty circumspect, is Parker Spencer. First year as a manager, so he hasn't got the rampant ego that the others have got, I suppose. But Taylor-Brown going very well at the front.
Who's got the biggest ego?
No comment. Cassandra Beaugrand, by far the quickest run. She was in fact 6 seconds faster than Jean Lahair, and also 6 seconds faster than Taylor-Brown. So she was the big mover. Second swim is where it really starts to string out, and the Stars and Stripes athletes are trying to make up time and make it a group on the bike that can work together to really take the potential of a race win or even a podium away from the athletes who are struggling at the back of the pack.
It's always interesting coming into the second swim how some of the athletes seem to be quite far back, but when the first athletes dive into the water, if you're around about 10 seconds back and you get a good dive, you get a real opportunity to get back onto the feet of the lead swimmers, even if on the run it's looked like a fairly big gap. Good to see Cassandra Beaugrand. I mean, she's really matured, not just physically but mentally. I think in times gone by she might have thrown the towel in, but she's fighting hard, and she's had a great run, fastest run here in London so far. Chatting with Gavin Smith, her coach, earlier on, and he's here. She knows how many people have come out to watch her, and she's not going to want to disappoint, so keep an eye out for her, although I think she's perhaps finding this bike course just a little bit tricky as the athletes now exit the water. 18.8 degrees, it's pretty chilly, and it's a difficult exit to the swim as well.
That's true. 2 Brits at the front. Spivey's had a good swim, Lombardi's had a good swim as well, so Brownlee Racing, Crown Racing and Stars and Stripes all well represented. In fact, as Adam said, 3 Stars and Stripes athletes in the top 5, and Matthias will be out first. The short shoots are already decided. As you can see, that is run and won, and now it is purely about digging in and making sure that this second of 3 triathlons is solid and taking away that race from those at the back. And at the moment, Lombardi, Spivey and Casper are doing the job for Stars and Stripes as they look to chase down Brownlee Racing, but Olivia Matthias is at the front. Also 3 Bahrain victorious athletes in the top 8 as Beaugrand. She went into the water 21 seconds back. She got out 17 seconds back. So if she can have a decent bike as the course starts to dry up, we know she can run more time into her opposition or those in front of her. Beth Potter still having an off-season, to be honest, the 2023 World Champion. She's never won a supertri race. She's won supertri E, but she hasn't really found her best in supertri.
No, it's interesting because she does race so well over the e-sport racing, which is so intense, but her best result is third in Neon, so she's never had a victory, and she's only finished in third place before. I say only, but you'd expect a bit more from the bronze Olympic medalist.
Michael, you've got Georgia up the top. A couple of your other big guns are falling a little bit further back. How do you rate your chances here?
We're in the mix. We still need a lot of work. You've got to stick around for the third triathlon. At the moment, it's just stay in the game. We're a little bit off in the back end of this in the first run. I'm confident the girls will bring it up, but after that point, it's going to come down to sheer heart and the ability to throw the bike around on wet conditions. That could be the difference.
Yeah, it is the difference usually in these ones, and especially on this course, as we keep talking about the cobblestones and the wet turning dry, and just being confident enough to push on the bike. And Olivia Matthias definitely is. As one of the Brownlee athletes, we saw Annabelle Morton, who came in for this race. She raced here last year and finished 20th overall, finished 8th in Supertri E earlier this year in Stratford, also here in London. She is eliminated and joins Katie Zafiris and Fanny Zalai on the sidelines, cheering on these incredible athletes. Matthias continues to lead, the 25-year-old. She finished runner-up in the Under-23 World Championships in Lausanne, Switzerland in 2019. She's multiple-time Continental Cup winner. Finished 5th in Supertri E last year, but she is having her best season of Supertri by far, including a fantastic 4th position last time out. Taylor Brown is hunting her down, though, and taking the stars and stripes with her. One athlete who's dropped off that pack is Kate Woff, who was a bit off. She was a bit ill in Chicago, ended up getting eliminated, but she was on the podium in Boston, so she's had a little bit of everything, a little bit of hot, a little bit of cold thus far. And there she is with Jean Lahair working together to try and track down this group of 6 athletes now.
Kate Woff is strong on the bike. She is technically very good, which is important, and that will help Jean Lahair, last year's winner here, who by her own admission doesn't like it when it gets too technical or too tough. She says, I'm not brave. So if she sticks on Kate Woff's wheel, or they can try and work together, perhaps they can get back a little bit into this race, because at the moment the stars, the 3 athletes from the Stars and Stripes, Georgia Taylor Brown and Olivia Matthias from Brownlee Racing, are really working well together now, and they've got a sizable gap.
Yeah, Spivey, Casper and Lombardi really benefiting from the solid bike handling skills of the 2 Brits in front of them, and sitting in and putting time in. It was 6 seconds. We'll see if it's blown out in that lap, the 3rd of bike 2.
Good to see Kirsten Casper up there. She had a good 18 months out of racing with all sorts of injuries, and then made the US team for Paris, but had 3 crashes there, although she did eventually finish. She was eliminated in the first race and then finished 9th in Chicago. So she's definitely an athlete that's on the way up in the Super Tri Series, and I think it's her run that's been letting her down, but anyway, just having a look there at that little picture there of Annabelle Morton, who stepped in this weekend for Jessica Fulliger, who has other racing commitments. Unfortunately, eliminated, having fallen 90 seconds back in the at the end of the swim bike, the second run, over the second round.
Any athlete who comes through transition 90 seconds back from the leader is out of the race. Gets shown the red flag by Michael Thompson, the race director. His favourite part of the job, no doubt, as this group of 5 continues to put time in, and Cassandra Beaugrand is yo-yoing off the back when she is in the swim or on the run. She's 15 odd seconds back, and then we get halfway through the bike where she's not quite as confident. She goes to 22 or 25 seconds back, and the superb skills of Taylor Brown continue to shine. And it reminds me of 2022 in Munich, where Georgia Taylor Brown went on a 9-leg time trial on her own, because she was so confident in those wet conditions that she just managed to street everybody. and win by a huge margin. She was on that day, and that was all about bike handling skills. And as the course starts to dry up, and maybe in the men's race, if it stays dry, we're going to see a different complexion on this race. But right now, being able to push that extra 5 to 10% on the bike and have that confidence, I think is crucial.
Absolutely. As Michael Gilliam said, you've got to be brave enough to throw your bike around this course, and you literally have to. And it's finding the right trajectory on this course where you're not riding over the white lines that are a lot more slippy, finding the right route through this course so you don't get into trouble.
Let's head down to Adam Leach. He is with Non-Stanford, who still has Olivia Matthias in the mix.
Olivia Matthias still right up there in this lead group. It looks like the winner's coming from that group. You've got a short shoot. Crown Racing have got a short shoot. Can you give yours to anybody other than Olivia, or have you got to try and help her win this race?
Yeah, no, it's going to have to go to Olivia, I think. You know, like, she's right up there. She's in a group. The other two girls are quite isolated on their own. I'm not sure if I give it to them, it'll make that much of a difference to their positioning, if any. So, yeah, I mean, the logical choice is to give it to Liv and hopefully give her that shot at the podium. She was so close in Chicago, and it'd be great to see her on it there today.
Yeah, well, there you go. Non-Stanford makes the decision, and Non says it's going to go to Olivia Matthias. I would imagine that Michael Gilliam will give his to Georgia Taylor-Brown, and the Stars and Stripes do not have a short shoot, didn't earn one in the opening swim, bike or run. So all three of those other athletes in the top group of 5 will not have the opportunity to be handed one by Parker Spencer. And it would be a controversy if Michael Gilliam decided not to give it to Taylor-Brown. He could decide to give it to Kate Woff, who's in a battle with Jean Leher, but that would be for 1 point overall. He wants the race win. It's called Bahrain Victorious 13 for a reason, and that's not coming second. So off the back there is one of the athletes been slightly gapped from Stars and Stripes. That is Spivey, but it doesn't matter because we're off the bike and into the second run. A good transition is crucial here.
Interesting watching the athletes put their bikes in. Some putting it in front wheel first. Georgia Taylor-Brown back wheel, much quicker when you go to pick it up again to exit out.
Yeah, but slower on the way in, as you can see.
Slower on the way in, that's true.
Back to the group. 1 second, apparently, slower. So it is nice to know that you can take it out. Last year, the managers could fix the bikes or move things around for the athletes, put the rubber bands back on, change the gears so they have the correct gear. Can't do that this year, so it's all on the athletes. And that means we get to talk to the managers more often as Casper leads this one. We head down to Parker Spencer, who's going 1-2 at the moment.
Parker, you've got 1, 2 and 5 at the moment. This is almost a dream scenario for Stars and Stripes. How do you think this plays out from here?
Yeah, this is exactly what we need to do to make up a significant deficit that we have right now. This is one of the best races I've ever seen Kirsten Casper have. And, I mean, she's running out there right now in first. And I think right there with Emma. And then we've also got Taylor right there in the mix. Taylor was 3rd here last year. Let's see if she can win the whole thing.
Yeah, right, that's exactly right. Emma Lombardi, of course, 4th in the Olympics. Kirsten Casper, she finished 11th and 9th in Boston and Chicago. So Parker's right when he says that this is one of the great races for Kirsten Casper. She's definitely showed something in the first half of the race in Chicago, dropped back to 9th in the end. Let's see if she can hold on. And Spivey has gone 4th, then 3rd. She will want another podium here. But Taylor-Brown, well, she is at home, as is Matthias. But Taylor-Brown knows how to do the job here. She hasn't won here. She's finished 2nd and 3rd, but she's never won in London.
No, she's got a lot of work to. It's difficult, though, because you've got, with Emma and Georgia Taylor-Brown, you know, such good runners you really have. I mean, I think just amazing how many supporters have come out. And both for Olivia and Georgia, I know, having chatted to both of them, they've literally got 30 each family members and friends here supporting them, and that gives you a massive lift.
It absolutely does. It's a great shot. Sun goes behind the clouds again, and we keep racing.
Well, they've just got to try and... Sorry, you go ahead.
Sorry, I've got to say, confirmation's just come over my headset that Georgia Taylor-Brown does indeed have the short shoot for Crown Racing, which means that the athlete in red, Taylor-Brown, the Brit, there you can see there, the short shoot has been given out, and the athlete in blue, another home athlete, Matthias, They both have one. The other three at the front do not have the option. Lombardi is looking to make sure stays on the tail, and Parker Spencer's enjoying this one. One more lap on the second run, and then we're into the final swim, bike and run. We saw earlier the short shoot at the top end of the course probably gives you 3 to 4 seconds, but also a big mental boost when you get told you come into transition. You've got this. You've got that little thing in your back pocket. Have a good run, and this might be yours. Jean Lahair used one last year and ran her way to a famous victory here, her first in supertri. Could it be Taylor Brown to add a first to her second and third here in London? And confirmation on the bike points. The fastest bike out there gets 4 points for the team, then 2, then 1. All 3 went to Stars and Stripes. Spivey, Casper and Lombardi had the first, second and third quickest bike. So 17 points in the pocket for Spencer, and now he looks for some key overall points as well. The other short shoot will go to Jean Lahair, who's currently in 6th position, 17 seconds back last time through transition. There she is in the back of your shot, has run away from Kate Woff and Cassandra Beaugrand in the red there as well.
Let's just take a look what these athletes are doing here. They're running around about a 3:15, 3:20 kilometre pace here. Maybe a bit quicker.
Just
maybe
forgetting the caps and goggles, that's already ridiculous.
Exactly, and then I'm watching them accurately put their hats on and their goggles on. It's interesting here. Nothing really separates these top 5 athletes. I thought that Emma Lombardi and Georgia Taylor-Brown might push ahead. I think they just decided to save their best until last, and I think that's probably pretty sensible because they might have got a bit of a gap, but they would all join forces again in the water. Next time round, they will be taking that short shoot, and that is where races have been won and lost in supertri.
That's absolutely correct. Now, I think Matthias, based on her run stats, has done very well to hold on to this group of supreme runners. Taylor Brown, statistically the fastest runner out there. Lombardi, no slouch either, and the others are both excellent, but based on previous stats, Matthias is having a serious race. She finished 4th last time out, her very best, and she will not want to not be on this podium. And speaking of not being on the podium, Spivey won't want that either. Has finished 4th and 3rd. As we follow along, now Kirsten Casper in 5th position as they all get ready for the final swim. And if they can get out together in a group, there will be some kind of finish to this women's race under the sunshine here in London, as a huge crowd enjoy this finishing straight. Back onto the black carpet, shoes off. They don't need to go in the box because they need them one more time. Everything else needs to go in the box, but it's been a penalty-free race thus far. So fingers crossed there. Make sure the shoes are all lined up nice for the final run. And now we're back in the water again. Lahair is having a great run. She's taken that gap down significantly. Beaugrand, though, not quite so much. Into the water, Stars and Stripes, Brownlee racing. Crown Racing. You can see the short shoot symbols next to the short shoot symbols next to Matthias, Taylor Brown, and now Lahair, who is trying desperately to tack on to the back of this group.
What a run so far from Lahair, who found herself, I think, at the most around about 27 seconds back. Interesting, Beaugrand has definitely made up quite a lot of time on that run as well, finds herself 17 seconds back. And unfortunately, Kate Woff, who was 3rd in Boston, now 24 seconds down. She'll probably be able to join forces, I'd say, with Beaugrand in the water, getting a little bit of a draft, hopefully, if she's lucky enough, with a good dive into the water. But Lahair, for me, wow, what a run from her. She is fighting till the bitter end. She remembers a victory she had here last year. Those last 400 metres looked like she was in an Olympic final on the track, didn't they?
You do not run away from Cassandra Beaugrand.
And she's swimming onto the back of them now.
She is.
She's sitting there in 6th place, and she really is a few strokes away from getting into that little draft, which will help her give a bit of a rest and give her a bit of a tow as well.
Well, so I tell you what, she's got the short shoot too, so if a 3rd athlete can join that group and also has the short shoot, Lahair could just snatch this one from out under the noses of the other 3 teams, and Podium Racing could do it, and then we'll go down to Tim Don, and he'll say, that was always the plan. Because it's always the plan, 100% of the time. So anything can still happen as we get close to the end of this one. We look at the points, and as it stands, if it finishes as it stands at the moment, Crown Racing will take the lead overall. and Stars and Stripes will have erased just about a 30-point gap on Brownlee Racing, but Jean Lahair could throw this right out if she ends up overtaking it. Tim Don, well, he'll be hoping that's exactly what's going to happen. Let's hear what he has to say.
Tim, Jean Lahair, this is some comeback. She's almost tagged onto the front group and she's got a short shoe. Can she do this? Can she get through this group?
I don't know if she'll get through them, but she'll certainly get close. Unfortunately, in the first race round, she was involved in a crash with Katie Zaferes, so that did knock her back. So she's in great shape, and she's a fighter. And she gets stronger. She may not be the fastest swimmer, but her times don't drop off looking at the data. So, I think she can fight for a podium big time.
Well, she'll be hugely boosted by the last run and swim that she's had. She's sitting about maybe 5 metres behind the Stars and Stripes athletes who are all fighting each other. And it doesn't help when there's 3 wide there like that, fighting each other for position. It helps Lahair and it helps Waff behind them, or Beaugrand, sorry.
4 across the water now. That's not the most effective way to swim, but they're just about to exit now as Olivia Mathias doing a really good job.
Time and time again.
Look at that stroke. It's absolutely beautiful. She's so beautifully streamlined. Lovely catch there, and a great swim. 3rd swim for Olivia Mathias, with 4 all coming out of the water together. Spivey, Casper is up there, Lombardi, Georgia Taylor-Brown, and actually this is where Lahair's got to work really hard if she wants to get on the back wheel of this lead group.
Well, she has erased what was between a 10 and 20 second gap through the middle part of this race. Mathias out first onto the last bike. A good transition. And a short shoot, as Tim Don says, and she will come out with a group. Lahair, so all 4 teams now represented at the front. Taylor-Brown, has to be said, was a bit tardy coming out of the water and didn't get a lot better. On the other hand, though, Beaugrand's had a great transition and a great swim, and she may make it 2 crown athletes and a group of 7. But as she's done time and time again out here on the bike, Mathias has proved to be tough to beat. As she puts her 2nd shoe on, she's in such a hurry to make sure that she comes into transition first. 4 laps on the bike, 2 laps on the run, and will crown a winner. Will it be Olivia Mathias in her debut win, or will it be Stars and Stripes to take a win for the first time?
This is absolutely brilliant racing from Olivia Mathias. She's so brave. She knows if she wants to get on the podium, possibly even win, she absolutely has to give 100% to this last bike leg. She really does, and at the moment she's going really, really well. She's going to have to take a few risks, but she's got the skills to do it.
I think on a usual course, it's somewhat of a disadvantage if you're out on your own, because obviously you're breaking all the wind yourself. There's no drafting to be had. But on a course like this, if there's a group of 5, it's such a technical course and there's not a lot of straights in which you can get a decent draft. I think technically it's harder, whereas Mathias can take any line that she wants and really focus on being as quick through the corners as possible, which allows her to actually put time into the chasing pack rather than the other way around.
Can you imagine if we had Olivia Mathias and an Alex Yee, who's her partner, victory here in London?
No, you'd love
to
see it, wouldn't you?
What a day would that be?
Now, Lopez is eliminated as well. That means she'll be finishing in 12th position. She'll pick up 3 points to go with the 4 she picked up for the fastest swim. So she has done her job after a pair of 15th positions in Boston and Chicago. Mathias still out the front. The group still chasing her, led by Spivey and Casper. 3 laps to go on the bike. The course just about dry now, and it could be for the men's. They'll be hoping so. And Beaugrand tacked on the back of the group as well, and she could run away with it as well. Still so much to play at. Let's go back down now to our man on the ground, Adam Leach.
Olivia Mathias, has this got to be the plan now? Has she just got to go off the front and get this gap to get her in this for the run?
Yeah, 100%. If you look at some of the girls in the chase group, you've got Georgia Taylor-Brown, Cassandra, Emma Lombardi, Taylor Spivey, some brilliant runners. And I mean, Liv has been holding her own on the run, but if she can go out onto the run with a bit of a gap and she's got the short shoot, she's got a really good chance of holding them off right to the finish line. So fingers crossed this is Liv's shot at the podium, and if not, Liv's shot at the win. So yeah, everything's going in the right direction at the minute.
At the moment it is, but she knows that she needs to give herself that little buffer, because when you look back at the previous runs, Lahair and Beaugrand were by far the fastest in the first run, and they have got onto the back of this group, and so that's the first thing. The second thing Matthias needs to worry about as well is that Georgia Taylor-Brown was 9 seconds faster on the first run than she was, but she did hold with her on the second run, which is fatigue as part of that group.
And don't forget, Olivia Matthias has a short shoot. Cassandra Beaugrand doesn't. So that will give her a little bit of a leg up as well. I mean, Cassandra Beaugrand has been running extraordinarily well. We haven't been seeing it because, of course, she's been out of this race for so long. But somehow, a 17-second deficit going into the water for the last leg, and that's all gone. And she's now with this lead group, the Olympic champion. A hair there too, last year's winner. Great racing from those two.
We have a group now of just 11 left out on the course. Barbara de Koning has fallen foul of the 90-second rule as well for Bahrain Victoria, so she is out. The other 3 athletes in the red, though, are still out there, of course, Wolf Beaugrand and Taylor Brown. And Matthias is doing what she has been doing and getting plenty of TV time out the front on the bike. And really, I guess, laying down a marker for the rest of the series that she's not just a 5th to 8th place athlete. She is a contender, and she is leading a group of established athletes.
Yeah, she was 5th overall last year in the series. She got a 4th in Toulouse. She had a 4th in Chicago a couple of weeks ago, and she's really become, a kind of full-time member of supertri, hasn't she, really? She raced the supertri Arena Games series, now known as the eSport series, and she got a 2nd place in Cersei in that and a 6th place in London. But Olivia Matthias is just loving her racing at the moment. Been struck down with 1 or 2 injuries over her career, but at the moment, for me, Will, she really finds herself in the form of her life.
Agreed, this will be one of the great wins, maybe up there as her best win in front of a field that is as accomplished as this. We have multiple world champions, Olympic gold medalists in the group that are chasing her, but she is doing the job as it stands at the moment. And can she hold on the run? 1 more lap on the bike to go, and then the dismount, and a 1.6k run to the finish. It'll be who has the run legs at the back end. That huge crowd in the background there will be hoping for a home win from either Taylor Brown or Brownlee Racing's Liv Matthias. But there's so much quality all the way through, and we're going to head back down now to Adam Leach, and he's got Michael Gilliam, who is the Crown Racing manager for the weekend.
Michael, Cassandra, she seems to have the momentum. She's got onto the back of this chase pack. She's the Olympic champion. We know her quality. Can she run through this field?
Definitely she'll run through the field. We'll go 1-2 today. 100% we will.
Okay, well, that's the end of that. We may as well just...
go home.
Yeah, we should go home. Finish. Let's get the men out there. We went 1-2. Michael Gilliam would say last time out with Taylor Brown 1 in Chicago and Beaugrand 2nd, so he's obviously full of confidence that that can go that way again. But Olivia Matthias and the Stars and Stripes races, and of course Lahare, who has been the fastest runner for the 1st and 2nd run and won here last year as the sole podium athlete, will have something to say about that.
Just noticing Cassandra Beaugrand is just sort of falling off ever so slightly on those tight 180-degree turn, in contrast to Olivia Matthias, who just flows round them. But I think it's been a little bit of a difficult time for some of our medalists from Paris. I think it's such a big run-in. It's a 4-year training cycle, and I think the likes of Potter as well, just pretty fatigued after her monumental effort to get that 3rd place in Paris and 3rd place in the mixed relay. And Cassandra Beaugrand as well, that magnificent gold is for T. Olivia Matthias now, nice dismount, nice and smooth there. She knows what she's got to do. It's a mile run that separates her and a victory, her 1st ever victory in supertri. Can she do it? She does have the short shoot, so anything is possible as Cassandra Beaugrand just goes through the picture now. Not racked yet. Emma Lombardi is out as well. Casper's out, but Taylor Brown and the Brown team not having the best of transitions.
Yeah, a little tardy Taylor Brown in transition this time, as down the ramp. It's actually a decent decline there. For the first time they go, and there is a group of 7 and then 35 seconds back to Kate Woff in 8th position. We'll head down now to Parker Spencer, who'll be loving this.
Because Parker Stars and Stripes still so well placed, but your athletes don't have a short shoot. Can they still do it? Can any of them do it? And if so, who?
Yeah, they all just had very good transitions and did exactly what they needed to. I let them know most of the other girls they're running against have a short shoot and we don't. They have to really go for it. They need to put a gap in right now.
I think if we had to choose someone, Lahair looks ominous there in the front of that chasing pack, as this gap that Matthias put into them on the bike is slowly getting eaten up. And you have there in the red on the left the 2020 world champion and twice a supertri champion Taylor Brown. In the middle, London last year's champion Jean Lahair, and on the right hand side the Olympic gold medalist Cassandra Beaugrand. She won here in 2022 as well. And then we can't forget Emma Lombardi and Taylor Spivey. There's so much talent and they are back together. It's Casper who's dropped off the back though, and Beaugrand who has gone to the front. Now it's time for the short shoot. Matthias takes it, Taylor Brown takes it, Lahair takes it, and now Beaugrand has to make that gap up again. The Stars and Stripes go directly to the back, and now it is all about Bahrain victorious Matthias from Brownlee Racing, and Lahair, who on the cobblestones was so good last year, moves into second. But Taylor Brown wants to run off the front. About 1K to go now. They'll head across the black carpet and will be in the last lap, and there are the gaps from the drone alongside Canary Wharf.
I have got goosebumps, I really have. This is just incredible running. Cassandra Beaugrand now coming up ahead of Olivia Matthias, who falls back in to fourth place. Is she destined not to get on the podium? She's done everything possible to try and help herself today. Magnificent racing as Cassandra Beaugrand now. She has something to chase, which sometimes can help an athlete. The athlete that's being chased can find it quite a lot more difficult, but Georgia Taylor Brown is going to want this victory on home soil. She really is. She's literally got to throw absolutely everything that she has at this last 800 metres. What is it, 700 metres now to go.
10,000 Brits are willing on Georgia Taylor Brown, who has not won here, but she's being chased by last year's winner Lahair and the 2022 winner Beaugrand. And Matthias has dropped 3 seconds back and is in a fight with Stars and Stripes. It looks like, though, at this stage, Taylor Brown has kicked. She's put her kick in. She has left Lahair. Lahair is being chased down by Beaugrand. And can Michael Gilliam see into the future? Do we see a Bahrain victorious Crown Racing 1-2? Do we see the same result as we had in Chicago? Taylor Brown first, Beaugrand second. Or can Jean Lahair find that kick she found in the last 400 last time out?
Oh, Georgia Taylor Brown, just keep focused, just keep looking forward. Jan Lahair and Cassandra Beaugrand a few seconds back. They've got one another to battle it out with. 3-4 seconds separates Georgia Taylor Brown and the chasers Lahair and Beaugrand. This is going to be our podium here. Matthias is going to have to fight it out for that fourth place finish. Georgia Taylor Brown now will make 1 or 2 more turns and she'll be heading for home. She has her family here, her friends here, willing her on after the disappointment of Paris. She said in a pre-race interview she didn't know whether that would motivate her or demotivate her, but I think it's ultimately really motivated her to go for the rest of the series, and certainly the supertri series, which she is currently leading.
400 metres to go, or even a bit less now, and Georgia Taylor Brown seems to have kept that gap at what it was before. The fist pump coming from the Brit Oni Emerson beside me. The drone's going to show us the finish, which is at the far end of your screen. The crowd are willing Taylor Brown on as the sole Brit in the top 3, and it looks like GTB might find a spot and extend her championship lead for Bahrain victorious. Beaugrand kicks ahead of Lahair. Can Lahair look? Well, she looks behind her, so maybe not. It could be a 1-2 for those in red. In fact, Beaugrand could steal it from Taylor Brown. It's going to be a sprint for the finish. It's Taylor Brown in the red. She's going to take it at home ahead of Cassandra Beaugrand. Both world champions, both Olympic medalists, 1 and 2. And Taylor Brown rides a wave of home support all the way to the win here for the first time in London. Lahair gets third, Spivey fourth again. And Taylor Brown has given it absolutely everything as she talks to Wojciech Kruzinski from Bahrain victorious 13. He'll be very happy. Taylor Brown will be happy as well. And it doesn't look like it right now, but I'm sure Beau Grant is happy too as she finishes second. She's had a tough start. She's picked up 2 seconds. She nearly had the win. Matthias finishes 6th in the end ahead of Casper. But what respect and love do the Brits have for each other.
Oh, wow. I mean, what a run for Cassandra Beau-Grant. That was
huge run.
Huge run. But she made it so hard for herself. She lost so much time in that early round, unless something went on that we didn't see. I think she didn't like the conditions, and then they began to dry as she got more confident, as Jan Leher goes to congratulate, I think, and console her slightly. I mean, Beau-Grant and Taylor Brown, they don't like to lose. So Cassandra Beau-Grant, is she happy? Well, you know what? I don't think she is.
Halfway through the race, she was 8th. So, to be fair, a sprint finish, a great result for Crown Racing as well.
But I'm not sure if she'll, the Olympic champion will be thinking like that. And Potter now making her way home into 9th place. It's been a difficult season, supertri season for Beth Potter, but let's not take anything away. I was saying 9th, but Better has finished in 9th. But the bronze medalist from Paris coming home in 10th position.
Yeah, your sword has to be very, very sharp to compete at the pointy end of supertri, and if you're just 1 or 2% off, even if you are the reigning world champion, it can mean a 10th place. And we're going to head down now to Adam Leach, who has our race winner, back-to-back wins for Georgia Taylor Brown.
Georgia, back-to-back wins, and what a way to do it here as well.
Oh, yeah, that was really, really hard. You know, it gets to a point mid-race, you're like, I don't think I can push anymore. And then somehow on that last run, you find a little bit extra. And, yeah, I needed that short shoot today.
Cass was coming for you at the end there. Could you sense it? Could you feel it?
Yes, I could feel it. I looked back, I thought I was safe. And then I heard the crowd get louder, and I was like, something's happening here. So I looked back, she was right there, so I had to get a sprint on.
And what about this crowd here, Georgia? I mean, the noise as you came down there was absolutely unbelievable.
It was incredible. I really appreciate everyone coming out today and cheering for us. It honestly drags you around a brutal course.
Well, many congratulations, Georgia. You're doing so well in the standings as well now. You're in prime position for the win here, and another great victory. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So a big win then for Georgia Taylor Brown, who was nearly denied by her teammate. No team orders here, not for Michael Gilliam's team, Crown Racing. And we're going to head down now and hear from the second place getter, and it is Cassandra Beau-Grant with Adam.
Cassandra, wow, you came from so far back there. You had to dig so deep to get back into that race.
Yeah, basically, I don't know how I did that today because I was so far. And I was not expecting to come back on the last round, so I'm very proud of myself today. And yeah, like when I was on the last round with everyone, I have no choice now. We are like two girls from the Crown Racing, so we have to actually podium. So yeah, I'm very happy today.
Was there any moment just at the end there you thought you might just be able to catch Georgia?
No, I was not trying to sprint Georgia. I was just trying to not be catched by Jeanne behind me, so I didn't want to relax my sprint. I just wanted to go through the line and finish.
You gave everybody a fantastic race today, Cassandra. Many congratulations on your second place.
Thank you.
Good. Jean, you came from so far back there. What happened at the start with Katie?
Yeah, like my shoe, I couldn't put really good my shoe, so I think I went a bit on the left, and she screamed like left, but it was a bit too late, and then boom. And I asked if she was okay. I barely listened to the answer, and then I just go, and I was. Last year I had a bad swim, and I could catch on the first run, so I was don't panic, try to do the same, and then I was coming closer, but I wasn't in the group, and I was like, don't panic, build, and I'm glad that at the end of the last swim I was back in the group, and for the first time I rode with the group. That was nice, and then during the bike I was telling myself I can win, and well, I didn't win, but I did podium, so I'm really happy.
Fantastic result. Well done, John.
Thank you. Sorry, I talked too much.
Sorry, I talk too much. Love a Jean Leher interview At the front, though, in the beginning, it was Olivia Matthias who came out just behind Victoria Lopez, who picked up those points for podium again. Points for podium racing will be hard to come by later on in this race. Olivia Matthias really showed her bike skills on this wet but rapidly drying course, and she came in, picked up the second Olympic of the short shoots, but Georgia Taylor-Brown ran back to her as she would do time and time again. The two of them fighting in the water, second time around as I went past the big one because the sun came out and it was a group of 5 for quite a while. In fact, Stars and Stripes Racing with Emma Lombardi coming in and bringing Kirsten Kasper and Taylor Spivey into it. Again, Matthias put the best bike out there. She picked up the short shoot, took it with Taylor Brown and Lahare on the first lap of that run. On the second lap, it was Taylor Brown who kicked, and in the end, it was a 1-2, just as Michael Gilliam said it would be. Taylor Brown and Bergrand, as it was in Chicago, so it is in London, with Lahare picking up third spot. So confirmation then of the race results as that wave of support took Taylor Brown to a sub 50-minute race from Beaugrand. 1 second, 8 seconds back to Lahare, and then Matthias dropped back to 6th. It's not her best result, but I think it was, I guess she'd take most combative athletes. She really put it in hard, and Kate Woff, a minute 15 back in 8th position. We had some eliminations and, of course, some DNFs. Fanny Zalai picking up a flat tyre, actually, on those cobblestones, and Katie Zafiris tangling with Jean Lahare. Alice Beto and Beth Potter rounded out the top 10, and only 10 finished, with Perriot, DeConnick, Lopez and Morton all eliminated by falling more than 90 seconds in arrears of the leader.
Liv, my goodness me, you gave that something today.
Yeah, I just wanted to enjoy it, first of all. Like, we're in London, we're in a home crowd, we didn't get the opportunity very often, and yeah, we're really lucky with how many people have come out here. It was unreal, and yeah, I just went for it. I mean, it wasn't the plan to go by myself for the whole race, basically, but yeah, I didn't realise I got a gap on the first lap of the bike until I came down here, and the crowd just went ballistic, and I was like, oh my God, what is happening? I didn't realise I had a lead, and I just thought, wow, I just need to go for it now and just see what happens. And yeah, I committed to every bike. Like, the last triathlon, I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know whether to wait for the group or to just go for it. I mean, sometimes it pays off. Today it didn't quite pay off, but yeah, it was still so much fun. And yeah, I loved it. The crowd is just amazing.
And this supertri series, you're really showing a lot more of what you're about here. You must be really pleased with how this is going.
Yeah, definitely. I've had a bit of a rocky, like, last year and this year. And yeah, I think coming out and feeling like myself racing, yeah, it's just amazing. And I love supertri, the atmosphere, I love the racing, it's fun, and yeah, I feel like I'm just growing into it more and more, and hopefully I'll be on the podium soon.
Just about everybody's favourite athlete, Jean Lahare. Not Jean Lahare, sorry. Liv Matthias. Hard not to smile when you hear from her.
Oh, she just made the racing so exciting, and I love a really honest race, and she absolutely gave us that. Having a look there, the Sergio Baxter from Brownlee Racing, Hayden Wild, Chicago's winner, and the silver medalist. So close it was in Paris, wasn't it? Are we still recovering? Because I'm kind of going to that mode when I think about that final 400. You know how passionate I am about the British team.
You get very, very excited. There's no doubt about that. Vasco Velasa, who went from being eliminated to picking up 14 points for Stars and Stripes last time out. He was so quick through transition too, so watch for the Portuguese athlete. But all the eyes will be on Alex Yee, the golden bike for the golden man who picked up the gold medal. Look at that golden helmet as well, golden chain, golden cassette, and why not? He absolutely earned it, and there he is, the man of the moment. There's no doubt about that. They'll all be chasing him. Didn't have the race he was hoping for in Chicago. He'll be hoping to hit back here in front of his home fans from South London. We're very close to the medal ceremony as the men continue to warm up for their race, which is coming up very, very soon. We'll head down now to the podium ceremony for the women's with Georgia Taylor-Brown, your winner.
The medals will be presented by Debbie Clark, Chief Triathlon England. And champagne will be presented by Kennedy, supertri director. In third place from Luxembourg, representing G-Podium Racing, Sean Lair.
A great run in the end from John Lahair, taking her from just about nowhere up into another podium here in London. One of the crowd favourites, Cassandra Beaugrand, obviously coming off an Olympic win in Paris, picks up another medal, and as she said, very proud of herself after being more than 20 seconds back heading into the final triathlon.
Representing Crown Racing, Georgia, Taylor Brown.
And why not the biggest cheer reserved for one of Team GB's favourites, Georgia Taylor Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, maximize the super multi-legged.
Taylor Brown, obviously the most awarded female Olympic athlete. Picked up 3 Olympic medals and picks up another one here and extends her lead in the individual standings of the women's after 3 rounds of 5. So, confirmation then of the standings and a second place followed by 2 wins, and it is 5 points clear now. It was 3, now 5. Taylor Brown leads from Lahair, who picks up 13 points. Spivey is all clear now in 3rd position as Beaugrand starts to hunt her down. In fact, she's gone down to 1 point from what was 3 points. Matthias, well, 3 top 7s has her sitting in the top 5. Woff, 5 points back, so the top 5 gap the rest. Casper, Beto, Potter, another disappointing result by her very, very high standards. And Leonie Perriot as well after that initial great start. Picks up 5 points to go to 20 as we head down now to Michael Gilliam, who'll be very, very smug.
Michael, last time we spoke, you said very simple, 1 and 2. You're like Nostradamus.
Would you like the lotto numbers?
Yes, please, from you.
Not a problem. We got this one to go.
Well, how did that one play out?
Well, it was how we thought before the race. It was going to be close. Georgia was not having a really cracking day. Cassandra was, but she just was scared on the bike. But she said to me, I'm on. That's all she said in the transition. I said, well, show me the Olympic champion. She went out and showed the Olympic champion.
She certainly did. And now we switch our focus to the men's. What do you want to see here quickly?
We've got a few tricks up our sleeves. I'm not going to tell you just now, but just be careful of the start.
That sounded extremely ominous, both for the Crown athletes and for all of the other athletes. Now, as we warm up, as Alex Shee, the Olympic gold medalist, warms up, as Kenji Nina from Podium Racing warms up, and as the rest of our 16 top short course athletes warm up, we're going to have a look at the standings for the men in just a second and see where we are placed heading into this one. We have 5 rounds. We go to Toulouse next month and then Neom in Saudi Arabia after that. The team standings have changed, and Crown Racing, picking up 83 to Podium's 23, is on top, and Stars and Stripes have relegated Brownlee Racing to 4th position at home. Let's hope Alex Yee at home can turn it around.
Welcome to South London.
Broccoli! Who drives the whole place? The Broccoli guy.
It's about 800 metres away from where I first grew up. It's pretty special. I mean, just have people like beeping as you go past and just a little handshake or something like that. For people to even be, caring about my sport and what I'm doing, I think is really nice. But for me to be able to kind of repay them and, do my best to put Broccoli on the map and South London on the map, I think it's really nice. To come back now, being able to call myself Olympic champion, I think is really special and almost feels a bit like a homecoming.
But he is going to be the winner, and he claims it again, and Hayden Wild does not like that.
I'd say this is the most competitive I've ever seen supertri. I want people to come away from this weekend having enjoyed watching some really competitive racing, be curious about triathlon and be wanting to give it a go, especially from you know, where I grew up and where I'm from. So I think that's really cool, really special.
So good to see our athletes being lauded as the champions that they are. Now, if you're just joining us, you've missed the women's race. It was an absolute cracker. We're going to remind you of the format. 300 metres on the swim, 4 kilometres on the bike, 1.6 Ks on the run as Johnny Brownlee looks on, the 3-time Olympic medalist. But we're doing those distances 3 times. As you can see there at the bottom of your screen right now, how the race will play out. Swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run. The current leg will be highlighted. As you can see, the second swim right now is, and those 3 SC symbols are for the short shoot. The short shoot, as we saw in the women's race, is a shortcut earned for the team by the athletes that are first across the mount line after the opening swim and bike and the dismount line after the first run. A team can only earn one. The manager will give it to whoever's in the best position at the midway point of the race. They have until the second run to decide who gets it. And as we saw what happened with the women's, the Stars and Stripes athletes were relegated to the back of that pack because they didn't have one. It can sometimes win an athlete the race. Hugo Milner warming up. He had a difficult time in Chicago, headed back to Derby, where he lives and trains, and he'll be hoping for a better result this time around. Right-hand side of your screen, there was Emil Holm, who's a fantastic bike rider, came off a 70.3 win in Poznan last weekend. A reminder again of the points, and Crown Racing has not only moved into top spot, but they put a decent amount into 15 points, in fact, into podium racing. So 5 points in arrears before the women's race, now 15 points ahead. Stars and Stripes have overtaken Brownlee Racing, who have returned the lowest single race score for quite a while, for them anyway, and they are 15 points back, and they'll need to hit back through Alex Yee and their men. It's time to go again. The Olympic gold medalist, Alex Yee, the man to beat. Into the water they go. The 3 Frenchmen out the front. The 2023 world champion Connings in white. The 2020 world champion Vincent Lewis in red. And the 2022 world champion in Berger. 22 seconds back is Alex Yee. Hayden Wild is crushing the opposition. The Kiwi will lead the championship. Yes, Hayden Wild led in Chicago. A completely different race to what this one is, though. There's no doubt about that. Much, much hotter, much more different course. But he was extremely good. The Olympic silver medalist, as he's talking there to the Olympic gold medalist, Alex Yee. Great mates, despite the claim in Boston. And Wild turned that second place in Boston into a win in Chicago. He's clear, well clear of the chasing pack. 6 points, in fact, and Tim Hellwig is not here. Alex Yee, though, is, and he'll be wanting to have a much, much better race. Dorian Connings also not here, so Matt Hauser carrying the podium hopes, as is Kenji Nina and Leo Berger. Let's get them out, though, and let's get racing once again with Stars and Stripes, who'll be on a high after that fantastic effort from their women. And they'll be the first to come out. And as we said before, Vasco Velasa was eliminated in Boston, had a great race though in Chicago, and he'll be looking to do the same here. Chase McQueen needs to step up after a couple of reasonably disappointing results. Same for Seth Ryder and Reece Vanason, who is the #1 ranked junior in the world and has a fantastic run. He joins that team from Stars and Stripes. And second out is podium racing. Take us through podium racing.
Well, let's have a look at podium racing. We have Emil Holm, who you alluded to there. Matt Hauser, he is on the cusp for sure of winning a medal. But Leo Berger is, for me, one of the biggest threats. He's so cool, calm and collected. The bronze medalist from Paris. And it'll be interesting to see what Kenji Nina can do after a couple of decent results.
You actually spoke to Leo a little bit earlier on. Let's head to that.
So, Leo, you're off the back of a brilliant second place in Chicago, here in London for the first time. What are your thoughts on the course?
The venue looks gorgeous, so I'm looking forward to racing here. And yeah, the bike course especially looks quite rough, so I wish I brought my mountain bike here, but no, I think everything is set to be a good race.
Well, Podium Racing have made a really strong start to the 2024 season. You've got a great team and some fantastic teammates.
Yeah, I think our strength is that we have strong links between each others, and we are all good friends. And I think on race day it makes the difference. Everybody is willing to sacrifice a bit of his race to maybe go for the discipline points, and that makes the team win in the end. So, yeah.
You were pretty close to Hayden. Just a quick one. What are you going to do to beat him here? You were second to him in Chicago.
Better transitions, because I think that's what I missed in Chicago to fight for the win. And yeah, I think I'm getting closer to him on the run. So, yeah, I'm excited about it.
He's always there, Leo Bergier. He doesn't speak too much. He just lets his racing do the talking for him, and he's always around. And having a look at the crown lineup, Hayden Wilde obviously on top. Vincent Lewis, twice a supertri champion. Found that going a little bit tough at the back end in Chicago, but he was a factor in Boston. Max Stapley needs to go out there, and he's been instructed to go out there and win those swim points, but there's some swimmers around him, I tell you what. And Vettler Thorn will be looking to break into the top 10 in his debut season in supertri. And finally, it is Brownlee Racing, and led of course by Alex G, who we've talked about, who grew up just down the road, but he is supported by some very capable athletes. Connor Bentley, Sergio Baxter and Hugo Milner, all of whom have had solid results and been hovering around that 10th position. They had some really difficult times after a hard swim in Chicago, but a very different swim now, in a great podium position for them. So Non-Stanford will be happy with that, but she knows, and Adam will ask, obviously, they've got to have a good start.
Non, what a big race here for Alex Yee, his homecoming race as gold medalist. How's he been this week? Is he calm or is he a little bit nervous? I mean, the reception here for him just then was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you know, he's always pretty chill, Alex. There's not much that really like gets him super nervous. But I just think coming out here today and seeing how many fans are here, you can't help but get goosebumps. And he's been trying to keep himself away from it a little bit so that it doesn't affect his race. Because I know more than anything, he just wants to go out there and deliver a performance for the fans in his hometown. You know, he's literally from London, so it's an exciting opportunity for him. And I have no doubt they're going to put on a great show. You know, he's going to have Hayden hot on his heels. Hayden's probably going to want to have a bit of an upset on home turf. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Really, really quickly then, what are the team tactics for this one?
Well, our team tactics are always to deliver Alex as high as possible, and for a couple of the other boys to get as high as possible, but then to pick up some run points from the likes of Hugo. And last time we had to adapt our tactics a little bit, so we'll just see how the race plays out.
Well, best of luck today, Non. It's going to be wild in front of this crowd.
Yeah, can't wait. Thank you.
Now the crowd have seen one British win with Georgia Taylor-Brown taking it about 15 minutes ago, and now they are set to hopefully go back-to-back, and all of their hopes are pinned on Alex Yee, who is at the far left-hand side of your screen right now, alongside his teammates in blue, then Stars and Stripes, then Crown Racing, and on the outside is Podium Racing, where they were in the women's race as well. But Yee will be happy with his position, because of course they're taking two right-hand turns after 140 metres before they head in. It is time to get the men's race underway here in London for the fourth time in Canary Wharf. Let's get it on. Lovely start again. Yee on the far left-hand side, and in the middle with that big, wide, easy stroke is Max Stapley, who's been sent out to win those swim points, and he's had a great start, but he needs to watch out for Matt Hauser and also for Chase McQueen, who fought their way up the ramp and into transition in Chicago, and we want to do the same again. And I think that's Hauser off of Stapley's right-hand side hip, and out on the far right, that is Chase McQueen.
Yeah, let's keep an eye out for Vincent Luis as well. He, the former series winner from 2018-2019. He's been so strong, but hasn't quite got the results he's wanted. Safely in the top 10, but he really wants a podium finish here. He also is a great swimmer, but I think, as you rightly said, Will, Michael Gillingham alluding to the fact that they had some tactics to the swim, and it looks like Max Stately is taking this out pretty strong. Matt Hauser on his left-hand side, and Chase McQueen on his right. The Brownlee racing, though, just a little bit far back for my liking.
And no quarter asked or given by these men at the front. Two Australians, well, now Stapley's a British athlete racing for Team GB, and McQueen, and then Stars and Stripes have put themselves up there too with Seth Ryder. But Hauser, well, he's the swim record holder here. But it's not Hauser, it's Stars and Stripes out the front with McQueen. McQueen's had the inside line, and he has, on the way back, well, Stapley's gone out hard, and then now he's fallen back into third position. And I think probably Lewis along with him, and either Wild or Bettler Thorne as well. But back under the bridge they go, and it looks to be Chase McQueen, who was denied those swim points in a little bit of push and shove with Hauser in Chicago. He'll want them this time.
That's how much they want them, though, isn't it? You're racing for a team. You want those points for your team. And just having a look at Kate Woff, Max Stately's girlfriend there, just giving him a bit of encouragement there on the side of the water.
Surely he's like, first of all, I'm going as fast as I can.
Yeah, I can't go any faster.
But thank you for telling me to speed it up a bit.
Well, she wants some points for the team, doesn't she, overall as well?
Absolutely. So 3 Bahrain athletes there. Lewis closest to the boat. Stapley in the middle. Out the front, though, 2 Stars and Stripes, and it's McQueen and Ryder, I think.
Yeah, it is. Seth Ryder there.
So they'll be happy with that, because not only is there 4 points on offer for the fastest swim, there's 2 points for the second fastest swim. And they want all of them if they're going to continue to put time and points into Brownlee Racing. And Ryder comes out second. Then it's Lewis. Then it's Stapley. So 2 Stars and Stripes and 2 Crown Racing athletes at the front. Then there's a little gap back to the chasing pack. Thorne it was who was that 5th place athlete. Velas is there, Berger, Hauser who dropped back a little bit, Nina, Milner, Wild, Holm, Bentley and Baxter. If my eyes don't deceive me, I'm getting a bit old, but I think back there that was the order that they came in. So 2 Stars and Stripes, and then 2 Crown Racing athletes.
Hugo Milner looked like he had a fairly decent swim, but made a bit of a hash there of his transition. It's a swim where he really needs to work. He's an ex-runner. Well, as we mentioned, if anyone was tuning in to Boston, he went to Harvard, and extremely bright athlete, came from a really strong running background, but it's just still struggling on the swim and the bike at the moment.
All right, we'll head that now to Parker Spencer, who again has athletes off the front. He'll be happy.
Parker, 1 and 2 out of the water here. A dream start yet again for Stars and Stripes today. Was this always the plan?
Yeah, we knew that we needed to beat Brownlee Racing today. Like, they're the ones right in front of us, and they're the ones that are within room for us to catch. So everyone knew we had to step up today. The girls did that, and now it's the boys' chance to show what they can do.
Well, again, 2 working off the front, and Lewis is in no man's land as he looks to bridge that gap. But the surprise there, I suppose, is Matt Hauser, 8th on the swim. He is the swim record holder from here in London with an absolutely ridiculous 2 minutes 40 for 300 metres.
You do that for about 100.
100% I do, yeah. And there's a bit of breaststroke in there, a bit of gasping for air, and that's okay. We're not talking about me, we're talking about Matt Hauser, who didn't have the swim that he would have liked out there.
Do you know what, the courses here, they're tight. You know, it's only 300 metres, so, you know, if you're a bit out of line, or you get the outside line and not the inside line, going around one of those buoys, you can get left behind, however experienced you are. And Ryder, we know, is a great cyclist, and he's having a great hit out to start with here. Ryder, racing for Stars and Stripes Racing, finished in 14th in Boston, 11th in Chicago. He got the bike jersey overall in 2021, so we know what he's capable of on the bike, but he's got some very hungry athletes chasing him down now.
Stars and Stripes, the only short shoot thus far. And the American team could indeed deny anyone else the bike short shoot if they continue in this vein, although there is a pack organising themselves at the back there, and is Berger leading them with his countryman Vincent Lewis behind. Then Vasco Velasa from Stars and Stripes. Max Stapley is in there as well. And Kenji Nina too from Podium Racing. They are leading that pack, which is growing as the rest of the Brownlee athletes look to join Alex Gee on the back of that pack as they string it out. There is Matt Hauser in the white, and Hayden Wild is tucked in behind him in 11th position. So 18 seconds covering the 16 athletes at the end of the first bike lap. We'll see what kind of pace these two Stars and Striped athletes are putting on once they come across the line again. But the weather looking good again, and the fans enjoying it all the way down this tunnel. The City of London in the background.
Well, this is good from Chase McQueen as well. They've got a nice little gap on the chasers. We talked about this course, and actually it's a course that really lends itself to, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 athletes that are prepared to work. A big group is going to be slower around the tight technical sections on the course here in West India Quay.
Let's head down now to Adam. He is with podium manager Tim Don.
Tim, 2 Stars and Stripes athletes off the front, but Leo has got himself right to the front of that chase group. Is the plan here he's just going to drive that chase group, do you think, to try and make the bridge?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone was helping him do any work, so yeah, you need to be at the front. But we saw in the women's race, it took a while to come together. Jean was, 25 seconds off after the first run, yet she managed to get on the podium. So still a long way to go, but yeah, we're in a good position. But yeah, Stars and Stripes, what can I say? They're racing.
But how good is that? All 4 of the teams have spent their time at the front, and the teams race well. When we get to Neom, I tell you what, it's going to be all to play for.
Oh, that is a brilliant course, isn't it? For anyone who hasn't seen
really
it, make
is,
sure you tune in. It is an absolute...
It's a new course this year, actually.
Yeah.
New course this year.
It'll be better, even better than the last couple of years that we've been out there.
It'll be a fantastic way to finish what will be a huge season. 5 really big rounds. We head to Toulouse first. We'll be on the 6th of October. We have a little break after this, and then we are back into it in the south of France. But right now, Berger is still leading. You can see the golden helmet of Alex Gee, so he is there as well in that group, and he's got plenty of people to work with. Maybe too many, to be fair, with the kind of course that it is, but it looks like Berger is taking one for the team, as they say, and driving these athletes who are strung out. And you say it was around 6 or 7 seconds the first lap. It's the same as it is now. So these two, Ryder and McQueen, working well together, but how much effort are they putting in to do that? They're not increasing the lead, but they're not losing any time either.
Well, it will play into Chase McQueen's hand a little bit. He's been disappointing so far this season, and he'll admit that himself. He won the eSport supertri World Championships back in London in April and promised so much for the season, but has been eliminated in both races so far, Boston and Chicago. And really what's let him down is his run. So if he gets a little bit of a buffer going out onto the run, that will help him. At the moment, his teammate Seth Ryder seems quite happy to do all the work.
Yeah, he does indeed. At the front now, Velasa, who we know is a fantastic bike rider, so he doesn't mind doing the work either. Matt Hauser at the back there, and Hugo Milner, who hasn't got the name on the back of his kit, but that is indeed Milner, who was eliminated off the back in Chicago, so looking for a better race this time around as well. So to update you, it's Ryder and McQueen, the Americans from Stars and Stripes at the front. Velasa, Berger, Lewis, Kenji Nina, Japanese athlete from Podium Racing, Alex Gee, Max Stapley, Hayden Wild, Bettler Thorne, Matt Hauser, Hugo Milner is the front group, and then Connor Bentley, Emil Holmes, Sergio Baxter. That is the end of the second bike. Now Stars and Stripes look to pick up the second short shoot, which they won't be able to take to, but they will deny any other team from getting it. They didn't have one last time around. They want to take all of them this time around and deny everyone else as they tiptoe through the Stars and Stripes, and they will indeed deny anyone else the second short shoot. McQueen comes across the line first, and he needs that better run. As you said, eliminated twice, and now he leads this race.
it's strange because he just doesn't look smooth on the run, and he should do. You know, he's a nice, light athlete of sort of mid-height, but he always looks a little bit uncomfortable on the run.
He's smiling now. He's smiling.
He's smiling. Well, he's won. Well, he hasn't won 2 short shoots. He has, but he can only take 1, as you said, because the team can only take 1. But he has denied, really importantly, that short shoot for the other teams with the stronger runners. Brownlee racing with Alex G, and then let's have a look. Podium racing with Leo Berger, who was second last year, and they are absolutely flying around the streets here, aren't they? Who's on the front there? Leo Berger, Kenji Naina is there, Vincent Louis, Fetli Thorn is there.
Look how quickly they're eating up that gap. It was 7 seconds as they came into transition, and in about 600 metres it's going to be nothing as they come down. And Vetla Thorn's having a better race than he has had in the past, and there's Crown Racing is very well represented in that pack as they all going to come together, and Michael Gilliam will be very happy if he wasn't already after the women's race.
Michael, Crown Racing, your 4 athletes now are very, very close together, and they're closing on the front. Is the plan here to hunt as a team?
No, we're a pack of wolves. Watch us take a big chunk out of the field.
He's like an Australian Confucius. Like it's like a fortune cookie every time you talk to him. He just gives you a sentence and walks away. Thorn is about to take the lead of this race as Ryder and McQueen disappear into a pack led by Bahrain Victorious. Wild pushes and shoves Ryder out of the way as he wants to get to the front of this race as well. Stapley's off the back. Milner's hanging on, and we're in a group of, I think, around 9 athletes. Did you count better than me? I'm not 100% sure.
No, I'm going to say it's 9, but I tell you what I would do. Hugo Milner's job here is to get the short shoot for Brownlee Racing. That's all he's got to do here. Yes, one day he will be on the podium and win, but right now he needs to get that short shoot for Alex Yee. It's all about tactics here at supertri.
That's right, he needs the fastest run lap, Milner, so look for him to go, and he needs to hand a short shoot to Yee to take later on. It could be Yee, though, that takes the fastest run lap, and it could be Yee that gives himself a short shoot if he is indeed there at the end of the race. He's there right now, and the protagonist, the other one in the championship at the moment, Wild, is right behind him. Those two have had their moments in the last couple of races. You would have seen Yee claim it with the crossed arms across the line in Boston. One of the nicest, most humble athletes, and suddenly called out for showboating at the back end. Wild didn't like it one bit. These two good mates off the course, but they are real racers on. And speaking of real racers, Kenji Naina, well, he only knows one gear, and that is full throttle from the gun, and he is there as well for podium.
Kenji Naina having a pretty decent start, 11th in Boston, but then went a lot better in Chicago, finishing 6th. As we see Alex Yee now start to get his goggles prepared, and he'll find his hat. And these guys are running a sub 3-minute kilometre pace. Try and imagine doing that and then putting your swim hat and your goggles on at the same time. It's absolutely incredible.
Looks like a group run, except a group run at twice the speed the rest of us are used to doing. Let's head down to Non-Stanford right now with Adam.
Alex has got himself right up there, but there's Hayden Wild as well right next to him. Is this going to be another classic?
Well, let's hope. It's what we all want to see, right? We want to see them going head-to-head and delivering the performance and the show that we all want. So fingers crossed, they all get round and then we see that finish that we want.
And Hayden Wild has put the hammer down. He wants it, just as Georgia Taylor-Brown did, picked up the 3rd one, as there's a rock out there on the course or a loose cobblestone, so we'll watch out for that. Hopefully gets cleaned up. Hayden Wild wants the fastest run lap. Hayden Wild wants the other short shoot. He thinks Stars and Stripes are not going to figure at the pointy end of this race, and he wants to be the only one out there who's got one in the back pocket. He also wants to be, as one of the weaker swimmers, I suppose, from this group, although his swim's improved a lot, he wants to be first into the water and make people swim around him as he gets ready. Nina slots into 2nd position. Lewis, and in fact, Yee's dropped back to 5th or 6th. No, that's probably a tactic, because we know the run that Alex Yee's got on him. Velas is there, Thorn's there, Stapley's there as well. Milner's there too. He's having a better race. Shoes go off. They can stay out the box. And Wild will pick up the short shoot for Crown Racing as the first across the dismount line, because they don't cross the mount line going into the water. And it'll be podium 1-2. Berger's popped up like he does.
That's it's not brilliant news for Brownlee Racing. I wonder if Hugo Milner or Alex Shee could have done a bit more. You know, there's so much of the race to go, but to get the short shoot when you're Hayden Wild racing against Alex Shee, let's say it comes down to the final.
Oh, I hope it does. I hope it does.
Oh, no.
Yes,
I
it
don't.
does.
I don't think I can handle it. I don't think my heart can handle it.
Well, the
honestly.
thing is, Annie, you need to be unbiased.
How do
but you're not.
No, I'm totally not unbiased. I'm going to put my hands up to it.
Yeah, okay. It's the British accent that gives you away. We're at home as well. Rhys Vanderson, 14th position. He's 31 seconds back. The #1 ranked junior. He's got such a great run, but the game has changed, I suppose, since last year when he picked up those run points, and he didn't make much of a gap in it at all. And those two, him and Emil Holm, are 20 seconds behind the top 12. And McQueen went into the water in 12th position. Ryder, 11th position. They were overtaken, the pair of them, by 10 people in that run.
It's a run where certainly Chase McQueen, like he's a very talented athlete, great swimmer, strong on the bike, but his run at the moment is really letting him down. As we can see, 2 Crown athletes just swimming to that first buoy.
All right, we'll head down now to Tim Don, who'll need to hit back against Crown Racing in this one. He's with Adam.
Tim, you've got athletes here sat in 3rd and 4th place. Do you expect these guys to work together to try and win this race?
I think the pace is on. I think it's all about position. One thing I'm certain of is MG is doing a much better job than Macca. I mean, they're winning short shoots. They're doing the whole thing. So, yeah, fair play to MG. But, you know, we've still got another round to go, so I'm excited to see what we're doing.
Well, shots fired for Toulouse and beyond.
Yeah.
Chris McCormack sitting wherever he is at the moment, watching this. He'll write that down. He'll remember that. Wild's had a good swim too. Like he's improved his swim. He's still probably in Olympic distance. He'll come out 20 to 30 seconds in arrears of the best swimmers. But in a course like this, if you can go into the water first, you force people to swim around you. It's a little bit more difficult. And he's managed to stay near the pointy end.
I think with Wild, he hangs on well over the shorter distance.
Yep.
Exactly as you said, you know, the Olympic distance, even in the Olympic race in Paris, he was a good near minute down. I think maybe not quite a minute, but it was definitely around about 40 seconds down. But he just kind of keeps it together over this shorter distance. And that's Max Stapley, who's Vincent Louis, Vincent Louis, who's in the front here for Crown Racing.
Isn't it good to see him back? He's back.
It's so brilliant. Look at that leg kick. It's just like a 1-2 as he...
Is it Lewis? Yeah, it's Lewis. Lewis looks a lot like Stapley. Stapley's got a wider stroke. But Lewis, I mean, he didn't quite have it at the back end in Chicago, but he was right there in Boston. It's good to see him back. Hauser's come straight back into it. Nina, Ryder, Berger. But Matt Hauser has come from way back. He's had a great swim. He went into the water 10th. He's come out in 4th, so he swum around a few. Short shoots are finished. Stars and Stripes get one. Crown Racing gets one. Let's get into the middle part of this race and the narrow bars of Hayden Wild, and it's 1-2 Wild and Lewis at the front. Podium really featuring 2. 3 in the top 5 if you don't mind. Hauser, Nina, Berger, and then Ryder and McQueen, who've swum their way back up past Thorne, Milder and Balasa.
And this is not a good swim for Alex Shee. Finds himself now 17 seconds down. I saw him sort of handling his hazards.
No, it's really not.
Coming into transition, to his transition area. And that's Wild, who's taking a look over his shoulder. He's going to be enjoying this right now. He really is. This is his domain. It really is. It's where he really shows off his skills. He'll be quite happy to sit on the front now and ride away from the rest of the team. Although I think some of the athletes behind, Leo Berger, Hauser, are all going to have something to say about that. Vasco Velaza from Team Stars and Stripes Racing. He's alongside Alex Yee, not too far ahead. Great cyclist. Can Alex Yee work with him? But the crowds are going to be a little bit disappointed when they see the athletes come round at the end of this first lap. Just notice there as well, Hayden Wild glancing across the road and taking a look to see where his closest rival, Alex Yee, is on that wonderful gold Olympic bike that's out for the first time on the streets in London. But Wild looking pretty good today, Will.
Yeah, I'll be interested to know whether anything happened to Alex Yee, who's fallen back to 17 seconds in arrears. So we'll get Adam on that and find out from 9 if there's any issue with Alex, or if it's just the pace of this race, as Matt Hauser on the front looks for Kenji Nina to take a turn, which he's always willing to do. As Hayden Wild, former Xterra, that's off-road triathlon world champion, knows how to handle a bike in difficult conditions, and we're seeing that now as he holds that lead steady. Lewis has tacked onto the back of this group now, Ryder as well, but McQueen hasn't been able to, so he's marooned, I guess. 4 seconds back on his own with Thorne, Milner, Stapley, Yee still 16 seconds back, and Velasa. So he's got a group around him, Alex Yee, and he needs them to work for him. Meanwhile, Hayden Wild, our championship leader, and the man who was relegated to second to that silver medal in Paris in that famous kick from Yee from just a month ago that I guess went viral around the world, that moment that we saw with Alex Yee denying Hayden Wild the gold medal. Well, Hayden wants revenge here in Alex Yee's hometown, and it's all going his way thus far, although Berger again has dragged that group back up.
Yeah, Berger is just, I mean, in his interview watching him, he's so composed, such a relaxed athlete to chat to, and going into these races, he really does take it all into his stride, but such a strong cyclist, and he's definitely pulling back Wild now.
Wild continues his merry way at the front. Interesting from Matt Hauser, though, he didn't have a great first swim. You certainly had a point to prove in the second swim. Usually you lose around 20 seconds in the second and third swim, which are fatigued swims, as opposed to the first one when you're diving off for the first time. Matt Hauser 1 second slower in the second swim than he was in the first swim, and that's why he made so much time up, but he sits in third position, sandwiched between his teammates, Kenji Nina and Leo Berger, the 2022 world champion, Vincent Lewis, the 2020 world champion, also there, and Seth Ryder, who's managed to stay on the back as this group looks to put more time into the chasing pack. But they haven't. It's exactly the same as it was. 17 seconds back, Alex Yee. He was 16 on the last lap. And now Wild has the Australian Hauser to give him a little bit of respite, maybe.
You just can't afford to be even the slightest bit off in this racing. It is absolutely maxed out 100% in everything you're doing. And, you know, Alex Yee could just be slightly off. And that is, I don't want to say game over, because we saw what Cassandra Beaugrand did, but it'd be interesting to find out what happened in that second swim.
Well, let's ask Confucius what he has to say. Michael Gilliam is with Adam once again. Let's get a little nugget of knowledge from him.
Michael, Hayden Wild won the short shoot. Your team tactics as crown has been to give the short shoot to the person who won it. If he's far enough out the front here, do you change tactics?
Time will tell.
Oh, he's buying into his own hype now, Michael Gilliam.
Oh, he really
Three syllables is all we got, but we actually got nothing. I think the smart move would be give it to Wild, but also, you know, Lewis is there, but he ended up 50 seconds back, Lewis. He didn't have the speed in the final swim, bike, run. And, you know, he's the oldest athlete out there by quite a bit when you compare him to the ages of Wild, etc. He's 34, 35 years of age.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes me feel old when you go, well, he's ancient in this sport. It's a miracle he's still out there at 35. Oh, dear. It's a bit sad. But maybe he just doesn't have that top-end speed when the whips are cracking at the back end. If I was him, I'd give it to Wild, but MG, he's not shy of making a controversial call.
He's certainly not. I mean, I personally, you mentioned earlier about how nice it is to see Vincent Luis back. Supertri series winner 2018, 2019. There was a point when he was just absolutely unbeatable, not just in Supertri, but on the World Triathlon Championship Series 2020. He went into that standalone COVID World Championships and won that. But then struck down with some injuries, and you know, at that point in your career, in your 30s, it gets difficult to come back and find that top end. But you know what, I kind of feel like he's got a little bit left still. He's not absolutely at top form. He's nearly there, but not quite. So hopefully we're going to see Vincent Luis up at the pointy end of this race on the last run. Matt Hauser sitting on Vincent Luis's wheel. Good to see Ryder up there as well. Kenji Nina is still in this race as well. We'll take a look and see see where the Olympic champion Alex Shee is at the end of this bike leg, but at the moment I think some of the supporters out here who've come, the thousands of supporters who've come to support Alex Shee, are going to be slightly nervous at the moment.
There's plenty left to play out, there's no doubt about that. Now, Hayden Wild, when you look back, we've been here 3 times. It's the 4th time as they head off the bike and into transition once again. We're going to head out on the 2nd of 3 runs now. Wild has raced here twice. He has won here twice. In 2023, when he didn't race here, Alex Shee won. But every time Hayden Wild's come out, he's come out on top. Nina, Ryder, Hauser are your top 3. Berger, Wild and Lewis, a group of 6. Kenji Nina's been getting better as the series has gone on. He finds himself leading a race for the first time this year. Seth Ryder, who dropped back in that run, let's see if he can do a Liv Matthias and in the 2nd run hang with the group. He didn't manage to do it in the 1st run, and McQueen is off, but Ryder is still there. Lewis, it's funny, Lewis said after Chicago, he's like, I've looked at my numbers from now as opposed to 2018, 2019 when I was winning the Super Tri title. They're the same. I'm as fast as I ever was. But then that begs the question, the game has moved forward.
Yeah, and 7 years later, he's got to find even better,
even more pace
than he had when he was absolutely at his best. Just an update, if you didn't see the graphic on the screen, he hasn't lost any time on this bike, last bike, but he still finds himself 17 seconds back. And there's a little group there together that may have an opportunity to work together.
The problem with that is that he might be able to run away from that group, but then he's going to be all by himself on the swim, and that 3rd swim is where it is made or broken, because he can't run down the gap of these quality athletes. They're too far ahead as we get a look at the short shoot, which will be taken in the last run. Group of 6 it is, and all teams bar Brownlee Racing are represented at the front. So Parker Spencer will be happy for Stars and Stripes. He's got Seth Ryder there. Tim Don will be happy for Podium Racing as Matt Hauser looks to go past Vincent Lewis and move into about 4th position. And of course in the red, that's Bahrain Victorious, that's Crown Racing, who are represented by the man at the back, Vincent Lewis, who goes past Seth Ryder, and the man at the front, the Kiwi Hayden Wild, who has won here twice on debut in London in 2021 when the course was different and when the course was as it is now and as packed with athletes as it is now. In 2022 he won ahead of Matt Hauser, and Alex Shee was in 3rd position.
Well, we can see that Vasco Velarza that is pulling that lead or that chase group right now.
Let's see what the gap is, and it looked like from the camera angle it wasn't as much as it was before. We'll head down now to Tim once more, who's with Adam.
Well, Parker, Seth Ryder's right up there, and you've got a short shoot. Are you going to give it to him to try and push him ahead here?
We'll see what happens on this lap. Vasco's closing really hard, and Vasco was 3rd when we were just in Chicago. So we'll see what happens with this last lap, and then that's when I'll make my decision.
And the man next to you here, Tim Don, you've just seen 3 podium athletes go through right at the front of this race. This is absolutely dream stuff for you. Are there team tactics from here, or is it every man for himself?
Well, we don't have a short shoot, but no, I think on the bike they're working together. We're looking at track position. When it comes to the run, it's got to be every man for himself, so everything to play for.
Still an entire triathlon to go, though. How about that, as Hayden Wild continues to lead with the big BV crest on his chest. And behind them, well, 3 podium athletes, and Lewis might be starting to find the going a little bit fast. He's got a tiny gap to make up to Hauser, who looks quite relaxed, Hauser, as does Berger out there, as does Wild. So caps and goggles on once again. Ryder's been gapped as we thought he might be, but he's held on a little better than he did last time around as they head in for the 3rd swim. So we've seen 9 legs from the women. We're about to finish our 6th from the men, and Sergio Baxter from Brownlee Racing, the under-23 athlete, he has been eliminated at the back.
Yeah, difficult racing for Sergio Baxter over the last couple of races, Chicago and now London. He had a great race in Boston, finishing in 6th place, but hasn't been able to find that form that see him race so well in Boston. Vincent Luis needs to just pick up the pace a little bit here. He needs to...
He knows he's got the swim to come back to these guys. Hauser will be happy with his last swim under fatigue, so he might see himself out in the front when they come out of the water. There he is in the back there. Milner's having a good race. He's sitting behind Velasa. Stapley's sitting behind him. And Parker Spencer has decided that Seth Ryder, as the man who has been closest to the pointy end of this race, he picks up the short shoot for Stars and Stripes. Jury's still out on what Michael Gilliam's going to do. Into the water first, Hauser, then Wild, Bergier, Nina, then Lewis. Two teams lock out the top 5, and there's a gap back to Ryder, who'll have a swim on his own, but he's a great swimmer if he can tack onto Lewis, who equally is a great swimmer and will be hoping to get up into this pack.
Well, looks like Hauser is taking out the pace really fast here, but I think he has... Let's have a look. Hayden Wild on his feet. Kenjan Naina is up there having a brilliant race. He was on the podium in Toulouse last year where he finished in 3rd place, but the athletes now a little bit strung out in the water here for the last swim. Just one swim, 300 metres to go, a bike, 4 kilometres and a mile run, and this is going to be intense racing.
For those of you watching from far away in New Zealand on the other side of the planet, you'll be happy because Michael Gilliam has made the decision and Hayden Wild will take the short shoot, as will Seth Ryder for Stars and Stripes. So in this top 5 group, Hayden Wild's the only man with that in his back pocket, and we've seen it change the complexion of races, and that's what supertri aims to do, is increase the jeopardy throughout races, make sure there's things to win all the way through, not just a running race at the back end, as Hauser leads off the front, and it's podium 1-2 with Bergier sliding into 2nd position around the top end of the swim course. Coming in towards the end of this swim, we're about to get down to the business end.
Yeah, that was a crafty little slip there around that last buoy there. Lair Berger came up on the right-hand side of Wild and snuck in, and as a consequence, Wild has now dropped off the pace.
That was podium 1, 2, 3. Look at that.
It is, and Tim Don will be happy. So he'll say, I planned that all along.
Yeah, but you know, equally, Michael Gilliam, if we go back down to him, he'll say, I don't know if he'll have the guts to call a 1-2 in this one. Because of the way Vincent Lewis faded out a little bit at the back end in Chicago. However, he didn't do that in Boston, so you'll still be reasonably confident. If we know someone can pull out an extra gear or something special in front of a big crowd, it's Lewis as well. But I don't even think Michael Gilliam knows what he's going to say next until it happens.
He's very much a man at the moment, isn't he?
Absolutely he is, but he's been proven right time and time again. He made a very controversial call at the back end of Neom 2023, and he was proven right. So far be it from any of us to question him as the assistant manager. Hauser, though, out front, and it's podium racing 1, 2 and 3. Can they hit back after Crown Racing has taken the top spot after the women's race and retake the lead heading into Toulouse in 3 weeks' time? Hauser out of the water, the Australian. Podium getter last time out, Bergier as well. Hasn't seen a podium in London before. Nina has only seen one podium, as Annie Emerson said, in Toulouse last year, which he claimed was his best race ever, his best result. Could he equal that? Could he better that?
And this would be interesting, wouldn't it? If Podium Racing managed to get away, the 3 of them together. Vincent Luis is just about to jump on his bike as well, but this is a great start, isn't it, to the bike, the final bike in this men's race here in London. They get their shoes on, slip the shoes in, the cycle shoes, and that's always a tricky one. Do you sit and wait till you found your position, but then you don't have as much power, or do you just take a little bit of a rest and get the feet into the shoes? We can see Seth Ryder's had another good swim, and he's pushing that chase pack at the moment. Vincent Luis, Hayden Wild in there, but Podium looking pretty majestic right now as a team, and Tim Don will be absolutely ecstatic in transition.
Speaking of transition, I mean, these guys make it look incredibly easy to do the flying mount on the cobblestones, make the turn, go downhill, get the shoes on. all of those little 1%ers supertri has sharpened for these athletes who have gone on to incredible Olympic heights. Since then, we'll head down now to MG as Leo Berger has a moment.
Michael, very simple question to you here. Are you brave enough to predict a crown 1-2 again this time round?
No, we're going to go 1-1. We won the ladies, and we'll go 1 in this one as well.
Fair point. You've got to have faith, especially in Hayden Wild, although it's Lewis who leads for Crown Racing in 4th position behind this group of 3 who are trying to work together to give themselves a little gap on their rivals in red as Ryder tries to ride down that tiny little strip without the cobblestones, which is a gutsy play. And we're picked up on this drone as we see this shot time and time again. It's a beautiful one showing those crowds 5 and 6 deep heading into the final as they urge these athletes on, and there is not a Brit among them in contention. At the moment, Yi has fallen to 43 seconds back. He is out of this one.
Well, it's so disappointing for Yi, and we've got to really feel for him. We have, because to be on home soil after winning the Olympic gold medal, all the fans have come out to see him. But you know what? Something's up. He had a great race in Boston. He was then off in Chicago. But, you know, with Yi, he doesn't make a big deal about it. He just moves on to the next race. But it will be interesting to hear him speak after this and just see what has happened since Boston when he first won the opening round of the 2023 series. And we can sense now that Wild is going, you know what, we need to bridge this gap, and that's exactly what he's done. He wasn't leaving Seth Ryder and Vincent Luis up to the task. He really wasn't. And Hayden Wild now has joined this lead group of 3.
Yeah, Ryder's going to have the result of his career, supertri-wise, I think, if things continue the way they are, as he continues to tuck in and stay with this front group after what was a fantastic swim alongside Chase McQueen, which seems like a long time ago now, as we're in the 8th of 9 legs and the 2nd of 4 laps in this 3rd bike as they head along the cobblestones, which just, it doesn't do it justice looking at that. You can see how bumpy they are there on that low shot, but I rode over it once and my fillings nearly dropped out. It was so bumpy, but again, I was going at about a quarter of the speed these guys are. The faster you go, the easier it gets, I suppose. They all take a drink.
Well, I just saw Leo Berger there give a nudge at the elbow, which in cycling terms means come on, come through, and Kenji Nana just shook his head.
Not today, pal.
Not today. I've got nothing left in my legs, and he's a big fighter, Kenji Nana, so I imagine that he really didn't have anything left.
As they head down on the bottom part of the course, once again, back towards the city, and it's Hauser in front. Wild bunny hops over a pothole and sticks in 2nd position.
Interesting here. Little tactics going on with Hauser. Is he slowing the pace down and allowing Leo Berger to go off the front and get those few vital seconds he needs, because he doesn't have the short shoot and Hayden Wild does? Saying that, Leo Berger is in that pack, so I don't know why he thought he'd gone off the front there, but I must be seeing something with all the excitement.
Now, in the championship, you can drop one race. You can have one bad race because you take your best 3 results plus the grand final, which is compulsory to go to in Neom. So if you're a 10-5, you can have one bad race. You can't have 2. And Alex Yi has had, well, he's having a 2nd average race by his lofty standards. So it really does take a hit for him. There he is, all by himself, head down, knowing that Hayden Wild could really put some yards into him, and the rest of the field could too in the overall standings. And Brownlee Racing as well having a difficult time not being represented in this top 6.
I don't think I was going mad. I think there's an athlete down the road that is about to be lapped, isn't there?
You're right,
so I think that's
Reece Madison.
Yeah, that's what I mistakenly took for Leo Berger. So Leo Berger hadn't lapped off down the road to get a bit of a break from Hayden Wild, who has the short shoot. And it's going to be an interesting run, but I can't help but feel the silver medalist from Paris has fire in his belly, and he's going to be very tough to beat on this final run lap that's approaching now. The athletes with 1 lap to go on the bike and 2 short laps of around about 800 metres on the run to go.
Berger moves up 30 seconds, separate the top 9 with 6 together, and then a group of 3 together. Valasa, Vetlerberg's Vic Thorn, and Chase McQueen, and then it is daylight after that And Alex Yee is not in that top 9. So it's about a race in 6 at this point, and it's going to be, as we saw in the women's, a running race. Who has the legs? Time and time again, it has been Vincent Lewis. Time and time again, it's been Hayden Wilde. The others have struggled to make it stick. Leo Bergier has done it once or twice, and the others haven't, as Lewis puts in the big watts to stay on the back of this group, but maybe he's starting to struggle somewhat. Bergier looks comfortable at the front. Ryder has now moved up into second position. Baxter Cabrera and Vanison, the only 2 that have been eliminated. But Max Stapley sitting at 52 seconds in arrears. Alex Yee's over a minute back now because he's all on his own.
Well, he will finish the race for sure, but although he's got to keep on his toes because the seconds are dropping quite rapidly, aren't they? Oh, it's the athletes
it's
now.
The last time through transition, I think he's going to stay in on the run. It's a group of 6, 3 teams invested in this one. And that was a great transition from Seth Ryder. He's going to run past nearly everyone. Bergier gets out, Hauser gets out, and it's Wilde who's had the slowest transition. In fact, the 2 Crown Racing athletes with the Bahrain Victorious logo, they are at the back at the moment, but they've both got incredible run pedigree. Matt Hauser, well, could this be a second supertri win for him? He puts the hammer down early. Don't forget, we've only got 1.5 kilometres to go, and podium is still 1, 2 and 3.
He's such a brilliant athlete, isn't he? I mean, he's had decent results this year, but not quite where he'd expect him to be. 7th in Boston, 4th in Chicago. He finished 2nd overall in the series in 2022, and he got a first-place finish.
He had 2 wins then.
He finished 1st in Munich, didn't he? When we had supertri in Munich, he got 2nd in Lyon. We can just see now Alex Yee in that wonderful gold medal helmet and bike. He will carry on with this race, but not quite the race and the day that he wanted for the crowds. As Wilde now goes into 2nd place. Hauser, I think, is always so close to being on top of the podium, and he can have these races that are quite brilliant, but he never seems to be fazed by it. And
well, there's the short shoot's been taken. Sorry to interrupt, Danny, and Hayden Wilde goes into the lead. First lap of the last run. The only man in the front group who's got it. He knew he had it, and now he has taken the lead. The Kiwi from the Australian, from the Frenchman in Leo Bergier with Nina and Ryder.
Well, Hauser's going to have to dig really deep, but he's looking a little bit unsteady on the cobbles, and Wilde looks like he's pulling away now. What does Hauser have left in the tank? Leo Bergier sits in 3rd. Kenji Nena in 4th. Best result was in Toulouse when he finished in 3rd on the podium. We've lost Ryder. Did a lot of that early riding, but as you said, it's going to be his best result. Vincent Louis, 2018-2019 series winner, sits back in 6th, and as we were talking about, he's just missing that top-end pace, isn't he?
Podium look like they're going to pick up some serious points. It'll be interesting to see the teams race at the end of this one. 3 rounds gone, 2 rounds to go. Toulouse next month, and then the final in Nyon. But right now, Hayden Wilde is doing exactly what he did last time out in Chicago. That time it was over the top.
That's actually looks like he's making a run for home.
Let's head down to Tim Don and see what Podium can do about this.
Tim, Hayden's off the front a little bit here, but you've got 2 guys just behind him, and they're great runners. Can you see either of them bridging this and taking the win here?
In Chicago, Leo had a great second half of the run. Matty Hauser, he hasn't had the best run in supertri this year, so I think we can get him, yeah.
Well, there you go, let's find out. I tell you what, missing that swim short shoot and having a bad swim for Matt Hauser, well, that's really hurt him at the back end, because there is a short shoot sized gap between him and Hayden Wilde, and it's Bergier who's managed to stick with these 3. So barring incident, it's going to be these 3 on the podium. What order they're in is still to be decided. Bergier looks like he could scoop up Matt Hauser, but Hayden Wilde looks like he's going to do exactly what he did in Chicago. And just as Georgia Taylor-Brown went back-to-back in the last 2 races over the last 2 weeks, Hayden Wilde wants to do the same, especially with Alex Yee sitting in 12th position. He's going to pick up only 4 points, and Hayden Wilde wants the full 15.
I mean, it's just seconds, isn't it? But Wild's arms are pumping. He's really made his run for home already. He really has.
All right, this is it. There is 300 metres left to go, and in that iconic run under the arch with the Brits lining 5 deep, this incredible finish in Canary Wharf for the fourth time here, and for the 34th pro race, Hayden Wild will pick up another one. He'll pick up his 3rd win in London. He did it in 2021, he did it in 2022, and he does it in 2024. Matt Hauser picks up a great 2nd, and Leo Berger does what he does and scoops up a podium as well. 2 and 3 for podium racing, but the red is on top again with 4 race wins over the last 2 weeks. Nina picks up 4th, a great race from him, as well for Ryder, who sticks tight to 5th position, and a 6th, a fighting 6th for Vincent Lewis. But Hayden Wild, the sun is shining, and he is making the hay here in London. Well, well, well. Great result for the man they call the Falcon, Hayden Wild of New Zealand. Olympic silver medalist, 2 wins from 3, and just pipped in Boston for a 2nd, and he will extend his lead in the championship. High fives to Michael Thompson, the race director there. And further down, in fact 20 seconds further down, is Mecklenburg's Vic Thorne, who picks up 7th from Vasco Balasa, and a big hug as the prediction comes true again for Michael Gilliam, who does an admirable job in the absence of Chris McCormack. And here comes the man they all came to see. Alex Yee takes the time to achieve more high fives than any man has ever done. And he's called across the line by Michael Buchek down on the ground. Buchek left hanging as well. But high fives at this end for those in red, and he'll be happy with that. Berger picks up 3rd. He is such a consistent athlete when it comes to supertri racing. And there are our 2 who were so strong at the beginning. Ryder, who's rejecting the water, and McQueen as well. And across the line, he comes Alex Yee. Bit of a bemused look there from Yee. And it didn't go the way he planned it, but rarely does it. Probably happens for him more than just about everybody else. And as we see basically every single time on a supertri telecast, a shirtless Kenji Nina, as the athletes from Stars and Stripes congratulate themselves, and well they should, on what has been a significantly improved points haul for them. And it looks like they'll probably overtake Brownlee Racing when all is run and won. Great respects between these athletes, and as Yee already gets stuck into what will be a long line of autographs and photos and high fives over the next half an hour or so, as these great crowds enjoy getting up close and personal with their stars. Rarely can you get as close to an Olympic gold medalist as you can here at Supertri. So the race is a run and one again for the 4th time here in London, and we're going to head down now to Adam Leach, who has our race winner once again, the Falcon, Hayden Wild.
Hayden, many congratulations. I think you had to dig really deep there.
Yeah, it's and it's the toughest course, you know. Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. It's a tough course here. Like, if you're on the front, you're going hard. If you're on the second wheel, you're going hard. Matt Hole, man, he was pulling the pressure on today. The last swimmer really had to dig deep, and then the 3 of them applied pressure on that last ride, and I just had to run as fast as I can, like I had a short shoot. But man, they made it work today.
Was that short shoot crucial? Because it just seemed that put Matt off a little bit, and he sort of fell back a bit and lost a little belief there.
Yeah, I think so. I think if I didn't have that short shoot, I caught up to Matt, but you know, you get that slingshot effect if you go around a person, he comes with you, and you know, to close that gap is so hard. I know how that feels like back in Neon with Leo, so I know how much even 10 meters feels like. So, but I just felt like I was running in mud, and I thought they were going to catch me. I just had to push hard to the end.
Well, many congrats, Hayden. That's 2 great wins now. You're in a great position in this series. Well done, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Stoked to get my 3rd win here in London.
Oh, Matt, you look a little bit pale there, mate. Was that a hard race for you?
Yeah, I think I lost my tan. I've been in Loughborough for a week and a half, so I lost my tan. I got to get my Gold Coast tan back. But yeah, it was pretty hard out there today. You know, Hayden, class athlete he is, and great to see Leo on the podium as well for podium racing. Yeah, did my job out there today. I love the enduro, the super tri format because you're never out of the race together. So so in the first leg of the triathlon, I was a little bit behind, but I was managed to work my way back up in the swim, bike, and run. So I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, the short shoot seemed to be that crucial moment there when Hayden take that. Is that how it felt? At that moment, were you like, I just don't think I can bridge this now?
Oh, you always got to believe you can bridge it. So I kept on trying to hammer away and trying to catch back up to him. I knew I had to maybe, you know, put a little bit of a deficit onto him leading into that short shoot because I knew we'd just slingshot him around and give him the momentum in the last lap. So I had to try my cards at something, and it didn't quite work out today, but happy to get back on the podium.
Yeah, congratulations, mate. Great race from you.
Thank you. Cheers.
And here's the last of the podium boys here. Leo, how was that out there today for you? You said before you felt like you needed your mountain bike for this course. Is that how it played out?
Yeah, I'm glad we are all safe and in one piece after this race, because it was still a bit wet on the bike course. But yeah, we all had some fun because of the crowd as well. That was a great atmosphere, and yeah, finishing this day on the podium, I couldn't be more happy.
And what a day for podium racing as well. You and Matt both up there, 2 and 3.
Yeah, I think we played our card as a team, especially in the last round. Matt pushed the swim so much to try to get a gap on Hayden, and I could take his feet. But yeah, we had a small gap, so in the end they could come back, and yeah, that's it.
Well, congratulations, Leo. Another good podium for you and for podium.
Yeah, we have a good team, and I wish it will be like this in the next rounds.
2 from 3 for podium racing, and it was a long 9 legs for all of those athletes as we look all the way back, and Stars and Stripes were commanding early on with Chase McQueen and Seth Ryder. Alex Yee was right in it as well in that beautiful gold trek as they stumbled and fumbled their way through transition. These two were strong. They got caught on the first run, but Seth Ryder managed to make it stick. In the second swim, Vincent Lewis took control, and then Hayden Wild showed his quality on the bike. It is a truly treacherous course out there. For a long time, there was 3 podium athletes, 2 Crown Racing athletes, the Bahrain Victorious logo on the front, and then Seth Ryder hanging in. It was a lonely back end of the race for Alex Yee, except for the part where he high-fived just about everybody. Matt Hauser, he was the first to punch it out the front, but he was denied the race lead by the short shoot, earned and then delivered by Hayden Wild, who won for the 3rd time here on the streets of Canary Wharf. We're going to get a confirmation right now of the race results as that huge crowd trying to make their way across that bridge. Hayden Wild, too good in the end, sub 45, which is an elite time. 3 podium athletes in the top 4. Kenji Nina finishing 16 seconds in arrears. Seth Ryder hung on. Vincent Lewis, 23 back. He'll make a decent jump, I think, in the overall points. Vetla Thorne had his greatest result. And Vasco Velasa. Chase McQueen hung on to finish just over a minute back. Hugo Milner, Max Stapley. Alex Yee, well, that 2 minutes doesn't do him justice because he stopped to greet the crowd. Some eliminations there as well. Connor Bentley, Emil Holm, Reece Vanison, and Sergio Baxter. We're going to head down now again to Adam with Alex Yee.
Well, Alex, you've had some of the very best days that this sport could possibly offer, but perhaps not today. A tough day at the office, I think.
Yeah, not my day. I mean, today was never about me racing well. It was about me coming and appreciating, you know, everyone that came out here. Racing well would have been a bonus, and yeah, unfortunately, in the first triathlon I felt good, and then the second run lap I just started to have some some heart irregularities, I think, and then I just was struggling a little bit. But that's racing, and kudos to the guys. They race amazingly well, and I'm just I'm trying my best to enjoy racing, and just appreciate everyone who came out today, because I'm so appreciative of them for supporting and all the love.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this crowd. You got presented to them earlier. I mean, I think you could have been taking selfies for about an hour there. They're giving you so much love and support today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why I say it's all about them today. I think, I guess these guys have supported me, watched me on the TV, are inspiring to be like me, and so many of these other guys. And for us to be able to put on a show, mainly those guys at the front, to be able to put on a show for them was exciting. And if I could play a small part of that in the first race, then I'm grateful. So yeah.
And just very briefly now, what's next? You need a little bit of time. Do you think a bit of downtime, rest, recuperation?
I'm mentally tired. I can't lie. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, but yeah, I'm just trying to give back to everyone, and then also try and race my best. And it's been tough, I can't lie, but I mean, I'm just going to do my best to just keep enjoying the sport, just keep showing up every day, enjoy training, enjoy the simple things, and it's even little things like watching my girlfriend live race so well, I think are rewarding. So yeah, just having fun, and yeah, thanks very much.
There you go. It can be a little difficult, I suppose, when you've scaled the Mount Everest of triathlon, won the Olympic gold medal, and then you've got to keep on racing. We're going to head down now to the medal presentation. As we can see on the right-hand side of our screen, the founder of Super League Triathlon, or supertri as it is now known, Leonid Boguslavsky. And next to him, on the board, Finton Kennedy. Bergier picks up another podium to add to his collection. One of the favourites of supertri, loves the racing here, and he'll be looking forward to getting to Toulouse in a few weeks' time. He finished second in 2022 to Hayden Wilde, and again here in 2024, a great result for Matt Hauser. Appreciating the work of Hayden Wilde once again, and he's appreciating it as well. He has been in supreme form, Wilde, and hasn't had that Olympic downswing that others have had after picking up the silver medal in Paris about a month ago. He's managed 2 wins from 3 races and a second overall as well, as the shoes come off and the photos start before the champagne spray as well. Oh, hang on. Let's stick with this. It's a triple shoey. Well, as if supertri hadn't given enough. Now the triple shoey comes as well. So we blame the Australians on the podium for that. I'm sure Bergier was an unwilling participant as we enjoy the back end of this day. Back-to-back wins for Wilde, a commanding position now. Look at that, 9 points. Vincent Lewis turning back the clock. He picks up 10 points to go clear in 3rd position to make it a crown 1 and 3. Bergier, well, he didn't race. He's dropped a race already. And 2 podiums means he's on 27. As is Kenji Nina, who moves into the top 5. Alex Yee drops to 6 from Tim Hellwig, Dorian Konings, Vasco Valasa, and Vettelberg's Vic Thorne. So the Teams League, and 5 points down they were coming into this. Crown Racing pick up their best haul, 88 points, to go 8 points clear. Podium Racing drop. Potentially, if Fanny Zalai didn't end up with a flat tyre a couple of hours ago, could be equal. Stars and Stripes have jumped Brownlee Racing, who have had the worst return of the season at home here in London, and they'll need to hit back in Toulouse. They're 8 points down as well in the race for 3rd and 4th. And watching on through all of this was Johnny Brownlee, who's watched his team disappear down into 4th position on what's been a difficult day for them. And we're going to head down to Adam Leach right now as the crowd enjoy this beautiful weather to talk to Jonathan Brownlee, co-owner of Brownlee Racing.
Well, Johnny, an unusual position for you today. Still on the side watching your team. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, well, at first it's great to watch. It's a great event, you know. From the start, you're focused on what's going to happen and so much changes. It was interesting to be behind the scenes this time and watch it at a distance. When you're in the race, you think if you're not at the front, it's game over. But actually today, quite a lot of people who were a bit back on the first triathlon caught back up. So hopefully I can take that into Toulouse of, don't panic, just stay in the race and keep on going.
And just really, really quickly, Brownlee Racing still struggling a little bit to pick up some points. Kind of what's the tactics, what's the plan going forward?
Yeah, well, we've got some brilliant athletes. I think it's just, a scenario of people come out of Paris differently. You're not robots, so people are pretty tired.
Fair enough. That is, if anyone knows what it's like to come out of an Olympics, it is Jonathan Brownlee, and we are going to have a quick look then at what's coming up. 6th of October, we're going to Toulouse, probably almost everyone's favourite race in this one, and then we finish up with the grand final in Neom on the 3rd of November. On behalf of Annie Emerson, Adam Leach, the entire supertri team, we hope you've enjoyed our 4th trip to London. We will see you in just under a month. So the sun continues to shine down here in Canary Wharf, and it is time to wrap it all up from what has been a really interesting day's racing. Crown Racing has turned a 5-point deficit into an 8-point advantage with a big haul, 88 after 79 last time out in Chicago. More discipline points for them. That's what really helped. The 2 wins didn't hurt either. Stars and Stripes had their best day out, and Brownlee Racing had their worst day out with 45 overall. So a lot of that can be attributed to their superstar Alex Shee not having the day that he would have liked. And that is how it played out. We've still got 2 rounds to go though, and plenty to play out. And this is what happened in the Women's League. Georgia Taylor-Brown, back-to-back wins for her. A better result for Jean Lahair, but she's still 5 points back. Taylor Spivey has, well, she's the queen of consistency. 4th, and then 3rd, and then 4th again, and she finishes on 37 points overall. Cassandra Beaugrand has a better result. 2 second placings take her to 36. Matthias, Waff, Casper, Beto, Potter, who's having a difficult time, and Leonie Perriot will head down now to Adam Leach, who's with Michael Gilliam.
Well, Michael, you predicted 1-2 in that women's race, and that's exactly what you got. You must be a very happy man right now.
Well, the women's race worked out perfect. We had a good day. We had to do that sort of a day. We came in behind podium. So the task was, girls, get us off to a great start, and then the boys had to deliver on their end.
Yeah, and I guess with Georgia kind of going out the front there, you must have always had a bit of confidence, especially when you gave her that short shoot.
Well, this sort of racing, this repeat triathlon, say 3 triathlons in a row, you've got to stay in the game till the 3rd triathlon. There's no value in jumping off the front. All you're going to do is going to fill yourself up with lactic acid, and you're going to have problems after that. So learning to pace those first 2, but staying in the game is the key. The girls have been excellent at it, and then today Hayden also was good at it.
And how crucial was it for the women to really set the tone today and kind of pick up those points with you guys fighting so closely with podium?
Well, we know that podium is vulnerable in the ladies, so we're pushing on that side and then trying to control the men's.
And Cassandra there, what a performance from her as well. I mean, she looked a little bit cooked at one point early on, but like you said, 3 triathlons. I mean, I guess you had confidence in her coming through, right?
Well, We had a little chat, let's say, in one of the transitions. You might have picked it up. You might one of the time you might have it, but we had a little chat, and we got a good response. She just gave me a typical Cass look, and I knew she was going to get her head back in the game.
Well, a fantastic race from your Crown Racing ladies, and coming in we've got here Tim Don, podium racing, and Jean Lahaye, particularly for you in the women's race, Tim. Again, a bit like Cassandra, kind of come from behind performance after that unfortunate incident with Katie Zafiras early on.
Absolutely. The women's race, it really concertinaed out, but then it came back together. And I think that just goes to show you the depth that we've got in World Triathlon at the moment, and supertri's bringing it out. She loves this course. She won here last year, and to get on the podium again, I was so happy for her. When you start on the back foot, it's often easy to resign yourself to that's where you are, and she never did that. She fought for every position. She swam, she biked, and she ran really well in the second and third round.
And you gave Michael here some praise during the race, or some abuse to Chris McCormack, maybe watching at home, depending on how you look at it. Did you sense a different set of tactics from Crown today, and was there something you felt like you had to adapt to?
I think they learned a lot from podium racing and what we've been doing, and that's what we want. Absolutely. I mean, they've got the big budget team, the big budget athletes, and they performed today. They haven't performed. And I think, if one or two athletes have off days, it changes it. Fanny punched it on the first lap, so she got 0 points. Well, normally she would get points, but she didn't. So I think everything's to play for. We've got 2 more races to go. The individual and the team are really hotting up. They've got a bit of a break now, so that's interesting. That they've ended the Olympic high. I think they're probably going to have a few days chill, and then it's going to be who wants the end of season. And it's all about that motivation and turning up fresh in Toulouse to go again.
Well done, guys. You gave us a fantastic race today.
I think there's going to be a showdown in Toulouse. I think Toulouse is going to be the break point with the crowd that'll come, the course that's there. There's going to be some heavy racing coming.
Parker, what's a race from your girls today? 3 in the top 10. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, we're stoked for that, and that's exactly what we needed. One thing with supertri, that you have to have depth to do really good as a team. We've had some really good individual races, but we haven't had a lot of depth in the first 2 events. So to have the depth that we did today, we were able to gain quite a few more points. We did jump ahead of Brownlee, which is what our goal was. Sorry, Non, going into this event. But Emma Lombardi coming in, huge addition for us. And Kirsten Casper had one of the best races she's had. And then Miss Consistent with Taylor Spivey getting 4th again. Really solid effort from those 3 girls. Unfortunately, Katie went down on the first, on the mount of the bike after she collided with another athlete. She's fine, the other athlete's fine, but still a really good race overall for us.
Yeah, a much improved, I think, Stars and Stripes performance overall. And Taylor Spivey, 4th. Was she disappointed? Have you had a chance to catch up with that? Because she was so close to being on the podium again.
Yeah, it's Taylor, so she was definitely a little disappointed. I'm not. I'm very happy with her result.
Okay, great stuff. Non, Olivia Mathias put on the most brilliant display of top-class racing. How proud are you of her?
Yeah, super proud. She did proper Brownlee racing style, front foot racing, was aggressive, pushed off the front, took all the risks that she possibly could to put herself in the best possible position, and unfortunately it didn't quite pay off, but she's delighted with her performance. I'm delighted with her performance, and we couldn't have asked much more from her, really.
Let's talk about that first leg on the bike. She was so brave when a lot of the other girls were a bit tentative, weren't they?
Well, yeah, that's where she made the difference, really. She's very technically proficient on the bike, isn't afraid to sort of commit to those corners and maybe take slight risks. But when you're out on your own and you have a bit more space to take those risks and to take better corners and do things how you want to do it. So, yeah, it played into her hands, really, and that's why she kept moving away every lap.
And just a very quick word on Alicia Beto, very consistent.
She is. She's very solid. She's a really solid member of our team and always up there, always in the top 10, never gives up. Every race so far she's had to do a little bit on her own, and really kudos to her.
There you go. How about Annie Emerson making sure that the 2 rivals are together? In fact, they were in both cases like that. Hayden Wild, as Georgia Taylor-Brown did, goes second, first, and he's on 44 points, 9 clear now. And Matt Hauser moves in to second with that good finish for that one. Vincent Lewis, well, as I said, turning back the clock. He's on 28 and clear. Leo Berger and Kenji Nina and Alex Yee all tied together in equal fourth. Tim Helwig, Dorian Connix, Vasco Velasca and Vettler Bergsvik-Thorn round out the top 10. We head back down to Adam with Tim Don.
Well, Tim, in the men's race, it was quite unusual to see Matt Hauser not pick up the short shoot this week, but then you ended up with your men second, third and fourth.
Absolutely, you can't complain with that. You win some, you lose some. Again, it just goes to show the quality of the athletes here. I mean, supertri is elevating the game of triathlon. Now, we jokingly and seriously say it is the future of triathlon. You have to be on your A game, whether you're an Olympic medalist or you're someone that wants to fight. And, you know, Matty Hauser didn't have the best swim, second quickest bike and the second quickest run. So he's still grabbing handfuls of points for the team. I think that was London really showed the depth of the racing. It wasn't over. It wasn't over in that first race, and Podium Racing fought for every point there.
Yeah, and I mean, your team just seemed to be such a team. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but you seem to work so well together.
Yeah, we talk a lot about that. You know, we obviously have the WhatsApp groups leading up to the race, and outside of that, Dorian was racing in France today. He was messaging me today. He was watching it. So, you know, we've got that togetherness, and I think, you know, it really shows how they're racing. Yes, they all want to win, but there are certain times when you can work together and you can benefit. You know, let's be honest, Alex Yee is the fastest runner in the world right now. If we can alienate him, you know, that's a massive compliment to him. We are going to do our utmost to do that if we can work with other teams as well. But definitely with those three lads at the front, strength in numbers. Emil Holmes, he stepped in. He got the quickest bike, you know, so he was grabbing points for us as well. It was a really solid performance. We're just unlucky with Fanny getting that puncher.
Well, Tim, many congratulations on a great day for you. And Michael?
Let's talk, Tim. More action, I'd say.
Always about the action. I mean, you know, you want to win, I want to win. Do you think you're doing...
We did win.
But do you think you're doing a better job than your previous team manager?
No, he's my brother. He's my brother. He's my brother. Never thought that at all.
So you have two team managers now.
Yes,
How
we
am I
do.
going to compete with that?
You can't. And he's the legend, you know what I mean? So he did do Hawaii and win that twice. Remember those days, Timmy?
That was a long time ago. I do remember them.
Timmy was a good athlete back in the time.
Well, Michael, if I could pull you back briefly to today's race, if possible. In today's men's race, Hayden getting another victory. I mean, he just looks absolutely imperious out the back of Paris here.
Yeah, I think you learn a lot. You learn a lot. Bye-bye, Tim. You learn a lot. And when you learn, your losses teach you greater things. He's had a few too, Alex. But now the pendulum's starting to swing.
And, I mean, he's put himself in absolute prime position for the series again this year, but there's still quite a long way to go. I mean, how do you see it playing out?
Two very important races. I think it's going to come down to Toulouse. I said earlier it's going to come down to Toulouse. I see Neom as a consolidation. I think the damage can be done in Toulouse. If we can gap with a great performance in Toulouse, it's a twisty course, it's a tricky course. Conditions can really play havoc with that course. So there's current in the swim. You've got the bike ride, which is the most challenging on the circuit. That's going to be hard. So let's hope.
Well, indeed, it's going to be another fantastic race, Michael. Well done today. Congratulations.
Merry Christmas.
Parker, so let's have a quick chat about your men. By far the best race we've had in the three that we've had so far. 3 guys in the top 10, but let's talk about Seth first.
Yep.
That was a magnificent performance, really brave. He rode so well as well. You've got to be happy with that, 5th place.
For sure. It was so good to see Seth back racing like himself. I think after the high of the Olympics and then coming off of that and then him winning a silver medal in the relay, it can be hard to come back and race again only 2 weeks later, not even 2 weeks later. So I think that's what we experienced a little bit with Boston and Chicago, and then now it's really good to see him back in good form. Chase McQueen, same thing. Chase has been eliminated first, I think, in both of the last 2 events, and so for him to race more like himself too was really good. Vasco's always a stud. It's great to see, and Vasco being on our team. I mean, him and Tim Helwig wasn't here today, but those 2 guys, just a huge asset for Stars and Stripes. And then for me personally, it was really good to have Reese Vandersem on our team. He's young, 19 years old. Races like this will give him the experience that he really needs to compete at the top level. And so even though he got eliminated, still really happy with him.
Great stuff. We look forward to seeing what happens in Toulouse.
All right, well, we got two incredible athletes coming to stand by me. It's Alex. Well, he's going. No, you get out of here. You get out of here. You're shirtless. You can't come on. Only Ken Janita can come on shirtless. Adam Leach, how did you see all of that? Obviously, we're in the commentary box. You were down here. I could feel the energy of the crowd the entire time. It must have been electric down here to witness that.
Yeah, I think it really was, Bill, and that's one of the great things about supertri, right? We have these stadium-like courses, we put them in city centre locations, and that just means you get these crowds out, these incredible crowds like today. I think they weren't just motivated either by the Brits. Of course, they were cheering for their home favourites, but they genuinely love this sport, and that's the growth of this sport, right? We're actually creating fans of the sport.
Yeah, and here in Great Britain, obviously, it's the home of supertri, it's the spiritual home, it's the headquarters as well. And Alex Yee, was a really interesting interview that you did with him about, he's just trying to give back, and certainly people turned out to be able to get up close with him, and he's still out there signing autographs now.
Yeah, and you know what, Will? This week he's been amazing. He's been kind of here, there, and everywhere. He's been prepared to go back to all kinds of places, visit people, and we saw him the other day. He's walking down the street. There's people tooting their horns. They're desperate to speak to him, get their selfies. I mean, he's become a real superstar here.
He absolutely has, and we're going to head down now to another superstar. I am, of course, talking about non-Stanford, not Annie Emerson. Those two are together.
No, we can't finish the show without talking about Alex, because it must have been a very difficult day for him and you as his manager.
Yeah, it wasn't the Alex that we all love to see racing out there. He had a few problems and didn't feel himself, and that reflected in the performance. He's had a really tough few months or few weeks since the games. He's been super busy and he's just exhausted. He's achieved everything that he wanted to achieve this year, and it's hard to come back from that. But he fought till the end, and that's what it's all about, and that's what we're proud of him for. And he came out and the fans got to see him racing. It's what they all wanted. Okay, he wasn't in the position they wanted maybe, but he was out there and he was racing, and they got to see him in action, and that's what's so important. And he's now meeting all the young kids and hopefully inspiring the next generation.
Can he turn it around in 3 weeks?
I hope he can turn it around in 3 weeks, but let's see. No pressure on him. Like I said, he's achieved everything he wanted to achieve this year, and hopefully he can just come out and enjoy it.
Great stuff. We wish him luck.
It's very finely poised now, and we're heading to Toulouse in just 3 weeks' time. How good is that? That is probably my favourite race. It's hard to top this, but it's going to be great.
It's going to be absolutely amazing, and there's so much on the line. We know, a bit like here, we're going to have crowds 10 deep. We have another homecoming of champions from Olympics, and the wave of momentum there is absolutely immense. I think it's going to be an incredible day.
It is going to be an incredible day. It's just 3 weeks away. We hope you've enjoyed this one. Make sure that you don't miss the next one. So on behalf of Adam, of Annie Emerson as well, and the entire supertri team, it is bye for now, and we'll see you in France.